Get in bed with us, Kyle. What kind of high-end slut do you think I am?
You gotta take us to dinner.
Did you say high-end slut? That is taking us to dinner. The iTunes review. That's what I think it is. It's as
but
good.
It sounds like he's taking me like the 2 for $20 at Applebee's. I'm that kind of gal now. You gotta do a little bit better than that. Come on.
You gotta at least Outback. At least Outback. Man.
There you go. Yeah, give me the breaded mac and cheese appetizer, and I might suck your dick. Or I might.
At fucking Applebee's, I'm dead. You stupid ass. Stupid ass.
At least it's better than the what was it? The McDonald's thing where you, like,
value menu.
Two people can eat for like $12.
Oh, dude, the McPick 5 or whatever it's called. You get two things for $5. There you go. Take your lady out. Treat yourself. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 30 of the Thought Patrol podcast. This week, I'm joined by Sam.
Hello.
And Tyler.
Hey.
Yeah, he's back to join us. This week, we will be talking about Game of the Year. We do have the awards coming up on Thursday, the 7th. I have no idea. I just know they'll be on YouTube. They'll be all over the place. You can find them. I just don't know what time they are. But so we're going to talk about what we think should win in each category and what we want to win in each category, because we all have games that we love, but we're going to take it from the point of view of what we think, just basically because it's a popularity vote for the most part besides the Game of the Year award. So we're just going to talk about what we think will win and what we want to win.
Like a high school presidency race.
Pretty much. So
ice cream for you, ice cream for all.
I actually lost 1 year in high school for my senior year.
Dude, I would have voted for you. Did you have a beard yet?
No.
That's why.
Yeah, and I even threw in that speech. I even threw the telling that speech from Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh man, see, he was trying to get the pop culture crowd, but he couldn't pull him.
Yeah, but
I was trying to get the pop culture crowd.
Anyway,
so I'm glad you both can join me this week. Again, I already said that we are on episode 30. We are 30 weeks into this. It's crazy.
30 episodes.
We are this
that's
far.
A long time.
We're getting close to a year. We're glad all of you have decided to stick with us in this journey. For the ones that do hang around, we appreciate every single one of you. Real quick, how has your guys' weeks been? Before we get into the podcast, the good old meat and potatoes. How have you been, Tyler? We haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah, I'm falling off the face of the planet and coming back and repeating, but I've been pretty good. This has been a pretty good week for me. You know, still doing the firefighter stuff. You know, saving kittens from trees and grandma from beating up people and all that good stuff.
Have you yet to actually save a kitten from a tree?
No, I have not. However, I have almost saved a dog. So we'll leave it at that. Oh, you did?
How did that go? What was that story? Are you allowed to talk about it with us, or is that top confidential shit going on?
Yeah, I saved Rex the dog. If I gotta tell you guys a story, I gotta kill you.
Yeah.
No, it's all good stuff. You know, sometimes things happen, and you just gotta. We had a good structure fire, and this front of the house was just like ripping. And by ripping, I mean that thing was like pretty freaking hot. That thing was just, oh my god. Anyways, there was like, this guy had like almost, I think, a dozen dogs just laying in the front yard, and the owner wasn't home, and so he just left the dogs, they're all hanging there and stuff like that. They're not really freaking out, but when you're approaching the scene, you don't know how those dogs are going to react. I mean, because some of them were small dogs, and then it went from like a small little Shih Tzu to like a big ass like Rottweiler, so you don't know what you're going to get into. It's like, so is the dog friendly, or you're not entirely sure, but we got him out of there. So, just got him away from danger and stuff like that. So it feels good because, especially I put it in like in the sense of like if that was my dog or any life close to danger like that, you obviously want them out. But all was good. No one and no pet animal was harmed. So it was saved the day. The house was in not so much of a good condition, but again, fire was put out. Dogs were saved. It was a good day.
That's cool.
But other than that, the work's been good. Just living up here in Orlando, Claremont. I recently went and bought I was talking to a buddy of mine, Antonio, and he convinced me to go out and buy an old-fashioned vintage Game Boy Advance SP.
Hey.
So I went and got myself a bad boy, and like
Yes,
I'd always wanted one of these.
Is that the one with the
ever
backlight?
since-
The SP?
Yes. So there's two different models, and I made sure I got the right one.
Basically, like the OG DS, right? Pretty much because it flips open and it's got a backlight.
Exactly, and like it's a freaking pocket size. This thing is so
Yeah, it's
awesome.
fucking
Like
awesome.
I bought this for like 80% of like the shape and the size and just like the whole look of it by itself. I mean, I'm playing a bunch of badass games on it right now, like some like little Pokemon Fire Red.
Hey.
So good times, man. Yeah.
What?
So I got it for $70, and it's I got the AGS. The 101 model is the backlit edition, so you gotta be very careful because I bought off eBay, and you gotta make sure you buy it off. You get the right information because you don't want to buy the wrong one. Because the 001 is the one that has the front lit, and you can see the screen's a little bit lighter, and it's hard to tell the difference other than those two instances with the screen darkness, and then on the back sticker, you'll see either 001 or 101, but sometimes that quality is kind of shitty, so you can't tell.
That bitch, you charge that thing, right?
It's a charger.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Nintendo was ahead of their time with that stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I'm just buying a bunch of stuff for it right now. Like, I got an extra charger.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Have you ever played Metroid Fusion?
No, but I
You need to get on that
ordered.
Good game.
Yeah, I definitely one of the ones I'm getting. One of the Metroids. I bought this like weird thing on Amazon for like it was like $30 or $40. It's like 151 Game Boy Advance cartridge. So I'm playing this. I might be playing with fire here.
Nice.
I don't know if it's supposed to be all these games put into one cartridge, and it has perfect playback ability, like replayability and everything. For ones that have multiple saves, it should all work. So I'll see. It should be coming in probably within the week. But yeah, I got some stuff right now, like a package in front of me. I'm just ordering a bunch of stuff. I got like the charger. I got the split connect, the multiplayer connection, that cable there, the 4-player cable. So gonna play little Pokemon battles with people at some point. And we're here to go, man. I'm so fucking stoked right now. Dude. I'm holding it in my hand. I'm like, this thing is so fucking cool.
What color is it?
It's the graphite. I think it was,
okay.
It was the graphite, or that dark kind of silver grayish one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So good stuff. And good condition. Good condition. Got it for like $70 with the charger.
I'm surprised that they're still I can't really say that because they still have older versions still around, but that came out in like what, 2003? I think that came to the States.
I'm trying to remember which one came out. Yeah, for the backlit version.
Wait, let me Google it. On
the back here it says 2002. Maybe the first one, the 001 AGS edition, came out maybe the year before. Because again, this was the more advanced version of it. So
they said I'm assuming the Game Boy Advance SP released in the States it was accompanied by the 2003 is what it's saying, but I don't know if that was Japan or States. It might have went worldwide 2003.
I mean, I'm just saying when it goes off.
No, it came out in 2001.
Huh.
Yeah, but that could have been the 001. I don't know, but the 101.
This might be the backlit one.
Yeah, this was the original. It wasn't the SP.
Yeah, the SP is what I'm looking at right here.
Yeah, well, this is the SP. There's the SP,
the SP
001.
Is the one that flaps open. That's the SP.
Yeah, it's
like
the
DS.
little like lunchbox thingy. I don't know what you want to call it.
Complete squares, and it did the. It did when
awesome.
It turns on the little turn on noise. It's like dun dun. I fucking love that turn on noise for the Game Boy Advance.
Hold on.
Yes.
Oh. All right. Wait. Hold on. It didn't turn on. That just scares me real quickly. Hold on.
Yes. Yeah, I fucking love it.
Dude, and it's still like good God. It says good God. It still has a good charge on it too. It's supposed to play for like with the full brightness on it for like I think 10 hours, 11 hours. So it says what it's good for.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, dude. So, but enough about me. Again, I'm all good. I'm good to be on here.
Tyler living in the early 2000s.
Yeah, Sam. How about you, brother? How you doing?
Been pretty good. Let's see. Had quite an eventful week. Work was the same. It was terrible, and just retail is anyway.
Fucking people.
Yeah. Well, it's not even people. Like I'm in a weird situation, and it's a long story, and I've explained it several times. But basically, it's like I have a back end job, but I'm in the daytime working it. And I have to deal with people and customers. So, anyway, But let's see. I've been getting back into my workouts. I've been lifting weights. I still haven't gotten 3 days a week because for some reason the third day there's always something that comes up. So I'm hoping to get 3 days this week. Because I've been really wanting to, get back, pumping some iron and getting back into shape. I was never really in shape. Trying to get there. And then let's see. I've been playing a few games. I've been playing the new Wolfenstein New Order because I got New Colossus, but I don't want to play it yet until I finish the New Order. So I don't know how far I'm in or how long it'll take me to get it. But I'm doing that.
That is a great game.
Yes, it's a really good game. Yeah, New Order is great, and I can't wait for New Colossus. And then let's see. Last Friday, I did play Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for a little bit. I'm really enjoying it so far. Like I said, I hadn't touched it since then. I've been working on a shower with my brother-in-law. It's actually shower for me for downstairs. And then let's see. Saturday was interesting. I went out to lunch with someone, and then after I left, some guy decided to back up and not watch where he was going, and he busted my headlight.
Ooh.
And but thankfully, the light still works. The only thing that was messed up was that glass. So pretty much just got him to pay for a new headlight assembly that's coming in this week, and it'll be easy to pop in. So didn't have to get insurance involved and stuff. Plus, I don't think he wanted insurance involved. So got that taken care of, which I was happy with. Let's see, and then just pretty much usual stuff, just coming home and eating food, doing laundry, socializing with my sister and brother-in-law, and just doing adult stuff.
Sounds like a good old time, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you both can join me. My week's been good. I've actually had quite an interesting week, too. So we've been doing some Christmas shopping for the family, going around. We went to Best Buy a couple days ago, and we actually sat down. They had a demo for the PSVR, and we sat down and tried PSVR for the first time. Now, I'm a huge proponent for VR, and I'd never even tried it before, so this was my first attempt using it, and fucking adored it. I was playing this one game called Rum, something like that. It was like a shooter where they sit you in a room and the lights flicker on and off and you shoot at these robotic enemies with the gun attachment for the PlayStation, and shit was so cool. But my sister, she tried PlayStation Worlds, and so she was in the underwater thing where they put you in like a shark cage and you go down, and just so cool. And I just enjoyed it thoroughly. It was so awesome to be like in a world and being able to look around and do stuff, and I can't imagine some of the other experiences that are available, such as Resident Evil 7 in VR. Just the thought of that frightens me. I can't even, because that game scared me I played most of it by myself, and that scared me for the first couple hours of it until you start getting a shitload of guns and you're not really scared anymore. And I had moments where I was really freaked out. So I can't even imagine being in a situation where you're actually like everything's right in front of you and you could look around, and that immersion factor. I'd probably shit myself. And that's not, and that wouldn't be the first time I shit myself, but we'll go into that story at another time. So
the Christmas disaster starring Kyle Gribble.
Yes, the Christmas disaster of 03. But I was like, wait a second, how old would I have been?
Mom, get the towels.
Oh, shit. Literally everywhere. So we did that. We went and we got some stuff. Now, I recently acquired a new credit card. And I was going to use it. I'm like, okay, let's put this on here. I could pay it off over time, blah, 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 whatever. And it was declined because it's still a new account. So I had to, so after a little bit of sitting at the fucking, I hate when shit like that happens. Normally I'm a very laid back person, but I have huge, I guess, fears of just awkwardness in public. And there's like people behind me, and I have to fumble out another card. We tried to see if the credit card worked twice, and it was declined. So I'm like, fuck it. I don't care. I'm just going to put it on my debit card. Put it on my debit card, and then we leave. We have whatever we whatever we purchased, and we were on our way home. So I went home, and I was going to call in Caitlyn Capital One and find out what happened. So I'm like, oh, I got in touch with a lady on the phone and I was talking to her. And she was looking through previous purchases that I had made on the card to validate them, basically. And
what is this 12-inch black dildo you got off of this one site?
That's mine. That was verified. Excuse me, I use that every day. Don't fuck around with me. There was a purchase for Riot for League of Legends, the game. And so the girl was looking through them, and she's like, Riot, lol, did you make that purchase? She's like, oh, you play League of Legends? And I'm like, yeah, I do play it. She's like, I play it too. So we sat, on the fucking
that's a
phone.
breach of confidentiality right there. I wish I had customer service like that. Usually they're like, sorry, sir, I can't help you with that. Good day. Yeah, so fuck yourself.
So we sat on the phone, me and this woman, and just talked about, like, for a good 5 to 6 minutes about our favorite League of Legends characters. Talked about...
Did you get her number?
No. I don't know how old she was. She could have, I don't know, she could have been like 40-something.
Dick don't care.
Oh my god.
So we just sat there and talked, and we've eventually validated the purchase and like blah blah blah. I did try to make that purchase, and that situation was set. I just thought that was really funny that that we sat there and talked about League of Legends when I was on the phone with Capital One. We also recently on Sunday, and this was the reason we didn't actually record on Sunday because my parents are bad at relaying information. We went to go see a Christmas pageant down in Fort Lauderdale. They have this really big church down there, and they do it every year, and they have amazing like set. I have never been it, but from what I've heard, they have like amazing set work, costumes. The music's always really good. So we went to go chill. This church was fucking huge. Had to have at least 1,000 people in it, and they still weren't even using parts of it. And it was just so cool. They had two halves of it. They had the first half was like just kind of like more fun. They had like a kind of a skit they were doing the whole time where it was basically the Grinch, but instead of it being Whoville, it was Fort Lauderdale. So they were like, so it was like people yelling at each other wearing like what you like a stereotypical like hot weather clothing.
A basic day in Miami, like South Florida.
Yeah, people yelling at each other for having shit on each other's lawns and stuff like that. It was really cute, and they had this one part. They had like a bunch of kids that came out, and the costume that work was so good. But when they had this one thing, they had like a huge finale, and all the actors that came out and they were doing a final number. It was so cool because like all these costumes they had for these kids were so adorable. They had one girl dressed up as like a Christmas tree, so she was like exactly like the dimensions of a tree, and it looked ridiculous. They had like some of these girls that were dressed up as snowflakes, and my favorite ones were these ones that these like these three like really young girls that were just adorable, and they had basically, it looked like a light bulb, that would sit on a strand for a tree. So they were entirely green, had lights on their head, and it was just so cute, and it was just such a good time. We were there with most of my family, pretty much the entire family that I have down here in Florida, and then the second half was talking about like the story of Jesus and stuff like that. And I just want to say for all you guys tuning in, we are raring to Christmas time. We do not have our Christmas thing this week because there was just, again, scheduling conflict. So the festivities will start next week. But as we get ready for Christmas time and Christmas comes along, I just want you just to kind of remind all of you tuning in that whether you believe or not believe or whatever, this holiday as a whole is something where don't like get wrapped up in buying presents and shit like that. A lot of it's just kind of making those memories with the people around you, whether it's friends or family. So take that time, just sit back and relax instead of rushing, trying to get stuff for people, and just kind of make those memories with friends and family. Yeah. And I hope that you're able to have a good Christmas. Again, we're going to continue our festivities throughout this month on this podcast, talking about Christmas movies that we watched and stuff like that, just kind of hanging out with you guys. But I just want that to kind of, again, this whole holiday as a whole, the reason I love it so much is because it kind of centers around love. Whether you're a believer or not, it's about spreading love. And I really, it's just, that's one of the big reasons.
And capitalism.
That too, spreading capitalism and love. So, it's one of the
I'm 100% in agreement with your Kyle. It's, it really hit me when you're talking about all the Christmas stuff and you go see the pageant. My last shift, we had a Christmas parade through one of the towns.
Oh,
and
nice.
They actually brought the ladder truck that I'm on, so I was able to go to that. And like I was like, oh, we're going in a Christmas parade. That's really cool. I'm only like a little over a month in on the job right now, so that was a cool opportunity to kind of like see the community and like everyone's. It amazes me to see everyone get dressed up and people have all their lights up on their cars, like whoever is like in on the parade and everything, and just like all the love and joy, and you see all the family and the togetherness and stuff like that. And like it just like it amazes me seeing all like the family come together. And like in my position as a firefighter, and like seeing a lot of those people like look up to the fire department, stuff like that. Seeing the little kids look at the fire truck and be like, Mommy, look, there's the fire truck. That's my favorite, Like I think it puts such like a warm place at my heart, and it just like it makes me think about that. So that was definitely one of the first holiday moments for me this year, and hopefully many more to come. But for all those like families out there, definitely cherish it with your loved ones and all that good stuff, because it's definitely a good pleasure to have.
Yeah, because for the most part, not gonna lie, but the shit you buy for someone this year, they won't remember. They're gonna remember the time that you spent with them.
Yeah,
in all honesty,
and that's what I've experienced as I've gotten older. I've just noticed that like I feel like I remember more of what we did and than the things that I received. And what's cool is that this year, our family, or my mom's family, we're getting together, and instead of getting gifts for each other, we're actually going to be trying to find a family in our community or people we know in our churches that needs help this Christmas season, and we're just going to give gifts, and we're going to collect them and then give them to that family. And in fact, my mom, have you all heard of Operation Christmas Child, where you send like shoe boxes and stuff to like all over the world?
Yeah, I think my department's actually doing something like that.
So
what's funny?
Cool, 2 years ago, my mom sent one, and just recently, this little boy in a place in Ghana in Africa contacted her and said, "Hey, I received your shoebox, and I just want to say thank you." And then she got in contact with his mentor, and they've been chatting. And we're actually going to be sending stuff to them over there. We're going to be sending him some clothes, a soccer ball, some new shoes, and I'm just really, really excited about that. Like I love getting gifts from my family, but to be able to give it to someone who is in a third world country, who doesn't know what it's like to have Christmas or to experience what I've experienced my entire life, is just like I'm more excited about that than what I'm going to be receiving this year. And I'm just really happy, and I'm just really excited to understand what it means to give, and to really embrace the spirit of what Christmas is. So
yeah, super cool stuff. Real quick before we continue, guys, what's your favorite Christmas song?
Ooh,
that is tough.
There's a lot of good ones.
Christmas shoes.
Oh, that song makes me fucking cry every time I hear that song. It depends on. Every year they play that shit at church, and they do it really nice and all that, and like I cry every single fucking time they play that song.
So I'm gonna say two, and because I'm distinguishing them. Okay, so traditional Christmas song, "Little Drummer Boy." That's one of my favorite. That's actually my favorite. Any version, the Bowie and Frank Sinatra one's pretty good, but any version of Little Drummer Boy I like. And then I guess you could say like, I won't say secular, but like the tradition, like the more commercial Christmas song, I would probably say
like Jingle Bell Rock or something.
I don't know, Jingle Bell Rock. No, White Christmas by I don't know the name, but it was featured in Home Alone. It was like the bluesy version of White Christmas, like the doo-wop version. That is my favorite, one of my favorite Christmas songs. It's like those two, Little Drummer Boy and White Christmas, are probably my two favorites.
What about you, Tyler?
I gotta say, it depends on the mood I'm in, and like there's a lot of, I think of in like phases of throughout like my lifetime. Like when I think of like how I grew up as a child with my sister and my parents and stuff like that. My parents have like this CD stashed away somewhere, and like we'd always break it out during the holidays, and it was like it was just a holiday hits, like a basic holiday hits CD, and like we just would throw it on all the time. And like I pretty much memorized, I think, like frontwards and backwards, but like through that, probably like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I actually might still have a few on my phone, to be honest with you. I think I downloaded like the CD just to play during like, you know, the month of December. And but like besides that, a lot of one I actually like doing recently, and it's funny. Did you guys ever watch? I believe it was it Lone Survivor? That
I know the movie, but I never watched it.
I haven't seen it either.
They during the SEALs training, and it was around the time of year, I think, too, for during the holidays, they were playing Silent Night, and I remember so like it was like a bonding moment, and we actually at the fire department sometimes during our training, because we do like a lot of like PT and stuff like that whenever we're just not really doing anything, so we just go and exercise. And one cool night, it was like after dinner, we decided to go for like a run, and we did like a huge exercise and everything like that. Like we were all exhausted, but we were just really trying to like mentally push through. And I remember we were doing something like 6 inches, you know, for like minutes on end, and like, you know, you're just trying to like focus and just finish to get to the time without giving up. So one of my senior firefighters starts singing Silent Night, and we all start joining in. Like it just the whole purpose of it is to get your mind off of it, just kind of go somewhere else. And it was such a surreal moment because it was cold out, we were tired, it was dark, and like looking up at the stars too, like above, like from the station, it was such a surreal moment. So like I definitely awesome. That's a fairly new favorite to pop in just because of something like that.
Yeah, them cadences though, man, giving me flashbacks.
Exactly,
cadence is where it at, man. That's the shit. That's exactly like you were saying. It's its purpose. When you have everything else to think about, like your body being in pain every step. That's what cadences are there for. They remove your mind, especially if you have a fuckload of people. Like we were doing one of our like we take tests in boot camp. We take tests every couple months, right? And I think we're on the second one, so it was like a big run. Basically, I do it in a certain amount of time, and there was like this one group that stayed ahead and they sang cadence because it allowed you to split up. But you also had like other moments where we'd have to do runs as like a company, so you'd have basically hundreds of people just all lined up. And all these people singing one cadence, it's just, there's something about it that just gives you like that. Fucking cool, like the biggest morale boost.
It gives you the ability, yeah. Like you just like say fuck it, and like you just like pump in everything and just hit high gear and go, shitting and getting.
And it you can even argue because it technically makes it worse because now you're singing on top of trying to manage your breathing.
And you're breathing, yeah. Well, part of those cadences, they actually make you manage your breathing. Just it depends on the tempo of the songs. Now, if it's fast tempo and you're just doing it for the shit and the glory and all that stuff like that, then that's one thing. Like those like high like something like that. But when it's a little more, I did that in the academy a lot too. But yeah, like it's supposed to control breathing, just depending on the cadence. But yeah, dude, I understand 100% what you're saying. So yeah, man, it's funny that some of those songs can really just come out of nowhere, giving any circumstance.
Yeah, definitely. So you both said your favorite, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think my favorite again is also a recent favorite because the pageant is they did a very good rendition of Christ is Born, which is, I think it's done I don't know who originally did it, but it's like an opera song, but just you'd have to search it up. I don't know what it is in Italian because that's what people usually refer it to, but in English it's called Christ is Born, and that song is fucking fantastic. It's so good. So
they have a Norwegian black metal version of that.
That's awesome. Another good fucking mention is anything Trans-Siberian Orchestra does.
All
that shit's awesome.
Did I tell you I went to go see them last year? Like Carol of the Bells. Yeah, I ended up seeing them like last second, dude. Carol of the Bells, like that's probably my favorite instrumental wise of a song, and they that song when they play that. Yeah, they usually make that their finale and they go all out with that song. But
that shit's awesome.
That is such a wicked song.
Yeah, I saw them live a couple years ago too, and it's just cool how they're like they tell a story the entire time, so it's like a pageant in its own right. But it's fucking they're awesome. They're so cool. I definitely recommend if you get the opportunity to go see them in person, especially if you like anything that involves like guitar. That shit will make your day. It's so fucking awesome. So we did the pageant. I'm thinking what else. We got stuck. Everything got fucked up, and we did not record. I've been playing Xenoblade as well. I've actually had a lot more time. I'm about 12 hours into it, and for what I could say for first impressions, which is because it's a long game, so I still don't even have all the mechanics of the combat yet. But from what I've seen, it's really cool. The only issue I have is if you're moving in between docked and undocked mode, because that's what the Switch does. The undocked version of the game, I think maybe because they're putting it at a lower resolution, there's like this weird grain to it that just makes it look kind of shitty. But once you get used to it, it's really not that bad. I recommend if you can to play it in docked for the most part, but if you have to take it on the go, I mean, that's what the Switch does. It's not unbearable. I didn't find it unbearable. I'm still playing the game, and once I got used to playing it undocked, which is most of the time I spent because I do it on the go, I've enjoyed it. It's basically anime incarnate in a video game. The story is very shonen-esque of a boy acquiring power and going to take on the world. It's like me and Flash talking about earlier, but he referred to it as the hero story. It's literally what it is. Everything about it, from the fighting to even some of the scenes and the comedy, it's very heavily anime inspired. You could see from like facial expressions to characters overreacting to things, to weirdly awkward sexual tension being presented at certain moments and shit like that. But for the most part, I'm really enjoying it. I'm in it for the long run. I really like every moment of it. The combat at first can seem a little bit slow, but as you acquire more teammates and you start to deal with the effects and the elemental damage that you start to apply to the enemies that you're fighting and trying to get everything going in that rhythm and setting up combos with your teammates, that's when it starts to shine. And the combat is a much bigger improvement that I've heard from the first Xenoblade Chronicles. Now, if you want to get Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you haven't played the first one, there's no tether there. They're completely separate storylines. There's nothing that connects them besides that they exist in the same worlds for the most part. But the world is still thoroughly explained in this game because they're assuming that you might not have had played the first one. So there's a little bit of a build up. It takes it takes about an hour or two to get into the game and get into like the story actually accelerating. But when it does, man, it hits like a fucking wall. It's really cool. I love the idea of the drivers and the blades. It's one of it's basically one of the main forms of the combat where you have a driver, which is the person using the blade, and the blade refers to a secondary person, which can be a bunch of different people. It has like a persona system where you could like summon allies to help you, and the way they work is each ally that you could summon has a unique weapon that they use. So it could be anything from I summoned a dude called Boreas who looks like fucking Baymax from Big Hero 6. And he has like a little like medicine ball kind of looking thing that you toss at the enemies, and that's how you fight. And he's a support tank. Or you could have Pyra, who uses a sword, and she's a fire elemental, and she's all about dealing damage. But I start to get like rarer characters for the most part. Most of the common ones are very, they're very, how do I say? They're kind of just like cookie cutter, where you'll have like a type and then they could have different elementals. It's kind of like how they do with most RNG like acquiring systems, where it's like, hey, let's clutter all the common with shitty ones that no one wants, and then all the rare blades actually have like effort put into them. So, but
at least you don't have to spend real money on doing it.
Yeah, all the stuff you acquire in game, obviously, and you have a chance to get better characters based on what type of crystal you use to resonate with. But so far, everything from the world, the music's fantastic. The combat, like I said, can be slow at first, but once you get teammates and get into it, another big issue, not big, but slight issue I have is the enemy placement's kind of wonky. Like I'm like level 10 wandering through a forest area, and there's like a level 81 3-story tall fucking monkey that can one-shot me at a glance, and I don't know why he's there. Like, yeah, it's ridiculous. I was just walking in the starting area, the first area of the game, Gormott province, and I'm just chilling, and I see this big ass monkey. Sometimes he'll sprint back and forth, but he has a patrol path. He doesn't just like chase you down. So it's usually if you in front on his territory, then he'll fuck you up in a millisecond. But sometimes they'll just be fighting something, and they could like cry for help and have more enemies around come at them, and one of them will aggro the fucking gorilla that's level 81 that will stomp me in a millisecond, and I'm like, shit, now I gotta sprint away and run and hope he doesn't like fucking fart on me, annihilate me. And that is not a joke. They do fart. There's a fart attack that the monkeys have.
That is amazing. Buying that game.
Yeah, there's also like a level 91 T-Rex, but that so the enemy placement can be kind of wonky. You could be wandering, so it kind of dissuades you from exploring. But for the most part, you're faster than most enemies. So if you're just careful about where you trot, you're okay. Final issue that I have is some of the quests in the game. They kind of follow the typical JRPG bullshit where it's like an RNG fetch quest kind of thing. It's like, oh, there's points on the map that you can get items. But those items that you get are based on RNG. So you have to hit this point 100 times until you get 8 of this rare item in order to continue the quest. So that's kind of shitty. Not all the quests are like that. Some of them have interesting plots connected to them and actually actually helpful or flesh out the world in one way or another. But there are a couple that are just RNG fetch quests that just do not help the experience, because I had to actually like Google, like, where do I find this fucking piece? And then I figured it out later, and I went back to that board and made an account so I could put in the answer of a way of getting those items to help out the other people that are looking for how to finish that quest. So, but I'm enjoying learning it. I dabble into it when I have time, when I'm on the go. Sometimes in between class, I usually get about an hour. And if I don't have any homework or anything to do, I'll just sit there and relax, enjoy some RPG on the go. And that's probably the biggest pull. It's really nice to have this huge like experience that I could take wherever the fuck I want and play for a couple hours.
That's really where like the Switch comes into play. Like its whole purpose of that is giving you especially for those big games, to be able to play that on the go. You know, that's doing its thing right there.
Yeah, it's so fucking cool.
I'm really looking. I'm trying to get one. Like maybe I might get one for myself as a gift for Christmas or something. But we'll see. I might treat myself. You know.
Yeah, treat yourself. Yeah. I recommend it, especially now that we're seeing more games come to it. There's a lot to do on it now, especially with Zelda, Mario. We have Xenoblade, so it's Nintendo's slowly peppering in stuff from every genre. So we have like Doom and Wolfenstein 2 now on the Switch, Skyrim, and being able to just take all this shit on the go. It's really cool, and you can definitely see that a lot of people are in favor of Nintendo here with their sales and stocks. It's really cool.
And I'll be honest about that. Like, I'm glad that you have these third-party games coming to Switch, but my thing is that I'm actually not really excited about those games. I'll be real honest, because for me, it is convenient that it is on a portable system. However, I feel like some of them are going to suffer from being underpowered. And I'm not a graphics guy, trust me, I'm not. But I just feel like, in a way, like, I'm glad they're getting third-party support, but I'm hoping that because of this, they'll get original games developed for the Switch specifically, instead of just getting ports of other third-party games. Because, again, I'm glad it's happening, but I feel like there's going to be a dip in quality when you're porting a AAA game like that to a portable system. Now, the Switch is powerful, but it's obviously not nearly as powerful as a PS4 or Xbox One. So again, I'm hoping that because of this partnership with third parties, that we'll see more games that are developed for the system instead of just having ports of other games.
Yeah, and I feel you, and from what I've heard from the Doom and Wolfenstein, they're decent ports, and they both run at 60, but I do understand, we all know the Switch is not a powerhouse. It's basically a tablet that you can connect controllers to. That's a little bit stronger. It's what was that thing? The NVIDIA made a tablet game thing that you can do that never caught on. I forget what it was called, but it's basically that. And I 100% agree with you, and I feel that one of the reasons that a lot of the Nintendo games look as good as they do is because Nintendo's, for the past, ever since their existence, they've been working with well, not earlier, like OG Nintendo with SNES and stuff, that was top of the line machinery they were dealing with. But in recent years, Nintendo, for the most part, has been dealing with older technology. So they've become accustomed to making games work on older stuff. So that's why their games look so goddamn good and run so well. Is for the most part, they understand how to make a game and make it still stay competitive on older hardware. So that's why I do agree with you, and I hope, and I am excited. I do love the third party access. Another thing is for the Switch's controller, at least on the go, I haven't tried Doom or Wolfenstein 2 because I have a PC and I'd rather play them at 60 FPS with my eyes exploding because the resolution looks so good on ultra graphics than playing it on a Switch on the go. So, but for owners that just have a Switch or kids that are just getting a Switch, I think it's cool that they have these options available to them as well. So it's definitely interesting. We need to see what Nintendo does going forward. I tried to buy, real side tangent. I tried to buy the Senran Kagura Booby game because it was only 1,000 yen. The thing about it is I don't know how to connect my goddamn PayPal account to my Switch, that account, because I'd make a whole new account so I could buy games from Japan using PayPal, because it's not coming to the States, at least for the foreseeable future. It's just I don't know how to fucking do it. I've tried, I looked up guides, I can't figure it out, so I don't think I'll be getting it. But it's really cheap. 1,000 yen's it's like $10.
Yeah.
A little bit give and take. So, but all it is literally is you're talking to one of the girls and you have the ability to like massage her and slap her like skin around. It's ridiculous. It's so funny, but I'd like to have it just to show to people. That's my excuse I'm going with. So, but I can't get it. But I like the idea that's the Nintendo. You even see it with Xenoblade, is that they're going for a more mature market as well.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I like my Switch, and I'm excited I have it. Except, hey, don't leave it in your fucking car. I accidentally left my Switch in my car,
Oh gosh.
and one of the Joy-Cons literally...
I would have freaked out.
It literally broke. It wouldn't even turn on. So I just had to pop... The other Joy-Con was completely fine. I had the red and blue Joy-Con controllers. So I had to pop out the blue one and replace it with the original gray one. So now it's black and it's gray and red. But like I can't get it to work. I've tried charging it on. I have a charging station for the Joy-Cons. It just won't turn on. So I think it got fried. I don't know what happened, but I left it in my car. Don't do that. Try and avoid leaving your Switch.
Dude. I'd be so fucking pissed.
I was mad, and I only had them for a month or two before one of them broke. So that made me sad. The red one's still doing good, and the gray ones work fine. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just I don't have my neon red and blue now, sadly. So let's move forward. We're really far into this episode already. Holy shit, 41 minutes. See, it's good. We're catching up on old times.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to the housekeeping real quick. Thank you all.
Housekeeping.
There you go. Wow, that was kind of seductive, that one. Thank you all for coming by, tuning in. This is the Thought Patrol podcast. And I'm happy that you actually came and listened to our dumbasses talk for a couple hours. So that's really nice.
Oh, I love hearing us talk.
Yeah, so
We love giving you oral pleasure.
Indeed, yes. I've heard from a couple people that my voice sounds good, but I do not see that at all.
It's soothing.
Well, I'm glad you guys think so. So we have a Discord. You guys want to come by, say hi, commune with the host, talk with us. Drop some dank memes. I don't give a fuck. As long as there's no nudie pictures going on in the Discord, I'm good. If you have anything that you hear during this podcast that you want to talk with us, and you don't want to do any of these other things, feel free to leave a comment on the YouTube video where we operate mainly. This is our home base is YouTube. So if you're listening on a podcasting service, feel free to step on by, drop a subscribe, especially all you beautiful Audioboom listeners. We do get a decent following on Audioboom. If you want to come by, say hi, and just check out our other content, feel free to do that. If you like what you hear, our beautiful voices, feel free to subscribe. Get us every week. We do this podcast every week. And as I said before, we have more content on the YouTube channel. You could also join our Twitter, stay up to date with the Thought Patrol crew. And finally, if you want some brownie points, if you want to get in bed with one of us, feel free to leave an iTunes review. No matter how many stars, just be thoughtful with it, and we'll be happy to read it on the podcast. So,
Get in bed with us, Kyle. What kind of high-end slut do you think I am?
You gotta take us to dinner.
Did you say a high-end slut? That is taking us to dinner. The iTunes review. That's what I think it is. It's as
but
good.
It sounds like he's taking me like the 2 for $20 in Applebee's. I'm that kind of guy now. You gotta do a little bit better than that. Come on.
You gotta at least Outback. Man.
There you go. Yeah, give me the breaded mac and cheese appetizer, and I might suck your dick. Or I might.
At fucking Applebee's, I'm dead. You stupid ass. Stupid ass.
At least it's better than the what was it? The McDonald's thing where you, like,
value menu.
Two people can eat for like $12.
Oh, dude, the McPick 5 or whatever it's called. You get two things for $5. There you go. Take your lady out. Treat yourself. So, Flash, are you okay with us skipping the mailbag for this week, and we could save it for next week?
Oh, I don't care.
Okay,
you are in control, sir.
So we're gonna save the mailbag question for next week because we're already an hour in, and I don't want to go too far over because I have work tonight.
We're flying by here.
Yeah, we are. So we're gonna go into our everyone's favorite. We're gonna go into Kyle Ruins. Now we had this last week, which if we ever get big, this is what will demonetize us. But we're not big enough for it to matter. So for now, it's sticking around. I couldn't get Caitlyn to read it, but we're going to continue our beautiful fan fiction that we have. We read chapter 1, and I'm going to read chapter 2, which isn't as long, but hey. So, last week, we talked about the adventures of Sam and Slimer, as Slimer with his 4-foot hard cock stretching into Sam's anus. What?
Can we please preface that this is Sam Witwicky from Transformers?
It is Sam Witwicky from Transformers.
Okay, just want to make that very clear.
Okay.
I'm a little concerned now.
So last week we had the adventures of Sam Witwicky from Transformers and Slimer from Ghostbusters, and their sensual adventure. So we're gonna continue. Now we're back at Ghostbusters HQ. So we're going to continue the story from there. I hope you guys liked the classical music I put in last week, and I'm going to continue to do that as long as we do this. It
just adds class to this segment, doesn't it?
It does. So, all right, back into character, everybody. Let's bring down the mood. And we are back with Chapter 2 of A New Shade of Green. So, back at Ghostbusters HQ, Janet was at her desk, nude. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Come on, you didn't go on the first sentence here.
I got through the first chapter. I don't even know who Janet is. Janet was at her desk, nude, filing her nails. Then, this strange woman came in. She had on 80s clothes, short skirt, tube top. Janet noticed that the women had particularly large breasts, probably D cups. The women started... The woman started to undress in the lobby. Janet was mesmerized by the stranger's beauty. Man, this dude has the worst fucking spelling. He spelled beauty B-E-U-T-Y. Janet was, in fact, a lesbian. Thanks for that, she now craved this woman. Janet, however, knew that she should stop this. When the woman was down to just her panties, Janet got up. However, the woman pushed her down. The woman... Oh, God...
What is going on here?
We're at Ghostbusters HQ. I already told you, man. I already laid out the scene ahead of you. Okay. The woman. Okay, this is where it gets. If you have children, take them out of the room. This is where it gets. This is where it gets toasty. Okay. All right. Janet got up. However, the woman pushed her down. The woman lifted Janet's legs and started to lap at her pussy. It was the best cunnilingus the woman had performed all day. Janet let out a moan. Her pussy hadn't gotten this much attention in years. Then the Ghostbuster Steve walked in. Steve was the Ghostbusters accountant. What they didn't know, however, was that Steve was actually named Logan. He preferred Wolverine, however. What the fuck? What is going on? So wait, we have Wolverine in the mix now too? Holy shit, dude. This is the new, like, extended universe we got here. Ghostbusters X Transformers X X-Men. maybe we start with X-Men. So he preferred Wolverine, however. He pulled out his cock, moaned, and started stroking. The girls paid... This is all happening in the lobby of Ghostbusters HQ. Imagine walking in. They'd get a horrible review on Yelp. That's all I could say. He preferred... Well, wait, I lost my track. The woman then got up, walked over, and crouched over Janet's head and concentrated. Oh no. After a few moments... After a few moments, a few pieces of shit started to fall onto Janet's head. She didn't know what to do. This was a new one for her. She had never even heard of people eating shit before. She opened her mouth to say something, but a piece fell into her mouth.
Whose idea was this? What is this?
I shall not name the author, although you can just do it with a quick Google search. Oh my god.
Sounds like he just went in her...
We just went to like vanilla Slimer X Sam, and now we're like lesbian eating shit.
Yeah,
Wolverine.
I wish I heard the last one. Like, how
go back
did
and
it
listen to the episode, you fucking putz.
Sorry, man, I've been busy, but like, I'm definitely gonna watch it now. I gotta see this transition here.
Yeah, and then Shawn's reaction. It's a good thing he wasn't here this week. He'd probably be losing his shit. I think he likes X-Men. I don't remember. Where was I?
You triple X-Men.
There you go. I'm sure that's a porno. I'm sure that's a porno. That can't not be. She had never... wait. She had opened her mouth to say something, but a piece fell into her mouth. As it turned out, it didn't taste bad, per se, to be honest. It tasted like Pizza Hut. But Janet had gone to medical school. She knew the diseases you could get, so she spit it out. Oh my god. This is really bad. But the woman looked so saddened. Janet couldn't stand it. She ate all of the shit and then kissed the woman. The woman tasted. Has she done this before today? Maybe Janet just had an aftertaste, but the woman tasted like crap as well. But different shit. Then Steve came over and said he was going to fuck my ass. What the fuck? I've never had my ass fucked. Alright, that was part 2. What the fuck?
Stay tuned for next time.
What is that? Man, that went in so many different directions.
You know, the actions themselves weren't unusual. It's the plot was just all over the place. I mean, if that's my one criticism, the plot was all over the place.
Yeah,
that's a typical like porno, anyways. You
got a point.
Did
you order a double?
If you're gonna write a smutty fan fiction, at least make sure the plot has some consistency.
Hey, like Tyler said before,
just coming from some professionalism here from Sam.
Yeah. Coming from Tyler before, Dick don't care.
Yeah, Dick don't care.
I'm starting to read a little bit of the second. We might need to read this 3rd and 4th chapter next week because they're both kind of short. Oh man, this looks like this gets so much better, and I'm so excited. So
much better. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, dude. This is by Umbra D'Angelo. Thank you, Umbra D'Angelo, for this beautiful
appreciate it. Yeah.
Piece of fan fiction.
I'm gonna sleep tonight pretty well.
I'm glad. I'm glad I could provide this for you guys. The category is romance/angst. I feel angsty right now. I could say that for sure.
God, that is just funny as shit.
That was beautiful. All right, so that was Kyle's Ruins for this week. I think it was quite a good episode, or quite a good chapter. I'm excited to see what happens next. Now we have Wolverine in the making. 2 women eating shit, and one of them, for some reason, there's like an allusion to one of them actually tasting like, I don't know, maybe she's made out of shit, maybe she's a ghost, I don't even know. They haven't explained it. This is all happening in the Ghostbusters lobby. I'm confused as much as you are. So we're going to move into our box office tops. Real quick, we're going to get out of this steamy rut that we are in and move on to now this is for the weekend, since technically this is Monday that we're recording. So over the weekend of December 1st to the 3rd, we have at number 1 sitting Coco, still pulling in a decent amount of money, pulling in $26 million for the weekend, sitting at a total gross of $108 million, only on its 2nd week. At number 2, we have Justice League, still holding on, sitting at $16 million for the weekend and sitting at a total gross of $197 million on its 3rd week. At number 3, we have Wonder, sitting at $12 million, with a total gross of 88 million on its third week. Number 4, we have Thor Ragnarok sitting at 9 million for the weekend, sitting at a total gross of almost 300 million with a budget of 180 million. All these other movies didn't have budgets for some reason. This website's slacking. And sitting on its 5th week. At number 5, we have Daddy's Home 2 sitting at 7.5 million with a total gross of 82 million, sitting at a budget of 69 million and on its 4th week. So those were our movies doing well. I've heard Coco is fantastic. I mean, what else can you expect from Pixar?
But you see, the problem is that next week a certain movie comes out, and I just don't think I'm gonna have time for Coco. Just gonna be not on my radar.
What movie?
What movie? You're not talking about not Star Wars.
Star Wars.
What movie is it?
Star Wars.
What movie are we talking about?
No, I thought doesn't Star Wars come out on the 15th?
Yeah, that's next week.
Yeah, the end
Is
of
it-
yeah,
is
the
it
end.
really?
Of,
What is-
we're in Monday, so it technically is
damn,
next
dude.
week. Shit, it does come out on the 15th.
I gotta get tickets.
Yeah,
so.
in fact, I think my
Good
dad's
luck.
getting tickets tonight to that IMAX theater, so
Oh, fuck me.
it'd be sweet with reclining
Yeah.
seats.
See, after the
That's all.
fanfic, I was like half mast, but now I'm at full mast, so we're good to go for the
Full-
rest of the episode. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I am so excited. I'm just like, this is I've been hearing a lot of buzz about Mark Hamill, like his performance. Like they say that it's possible that he may get a nomination because he is just like on point. Like he is just on point as Luke Skywalker.
I haven't
as
heard
an
a
Oregon.
single thing about it. I've been trying to like really stay hush hush on the whole thing because
yeah.
that's what I've been doing with the last probably 10 awesome movies I've been wanting to see. Most of that is either anything Disney related now because Disney's fucking owning everything. So any Marvel movie, any Star Wars related thing, the list goes on and on. But like I'm actually pretty good with it. So I'm not gonna be going in and like knowing a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna be going in blind as fuck and having an open mind. So I'm hoping it to be a better experience that way for myself.
Nice. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. So that's cool. And did you guys sit down and watch the Avengers trailer as well?
Yes, I did.
Hell yeah!
And I hate to be the negative Nancy here.
Oh
but
shit! Devil's
really-
advocate. That's fine.
Hold on. Choose your words here, all right?
I'm really I'm excited, but here's the problem. There is a lot of plot in this movie, and there's a lot of characters that have their own movie. And when you make a big character, like a lot of characters in a movie, I feel like
Shit
a
gets
lot's
muddled.
going to be going on. and
You're
it's
scared that they're not gonna be exploited in like a good way for them. Like, so they're gonna have enough screen time, enough.
No, not that's not
character
it.
development.
It's more or less like I'm worried that the plot might suffer because they're going to be doing a lot of jumping in between different fights. 'Cause I'm pretty sure this is all going to happen on different fronts. Like we saw in the trailer in Wakanda, we saw in New York. I'm sure it's going to be in space at some point.
Potentially
So I'm
space,
really worried about how they're going to fit everything together and how they're going to incorporate everyone, because the thing is that you have so many different, this is one of the biggest movies ever. You're talking like, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, you got Chris Pratt, you got everybody from the Marvel universe is going to be in
Well,
this.
it's all the build up finally. Everything since 2008 when Iron Man came out.
Exactly.
So
And
now
like I said, I'm excited, but I just really hope that they can make it cohesive and try not to jump around too much.
Yeah, because as I'm sure you both have heard, this movie was originally supposed to be in 2 parts, but now they've kind of changed it around a bit where this movie is Infinity War and the next one they have something different. I don't know what they're going to call it yet. So I don't know how they've made those changes and how they affect the way they're going to tell the story, but I understand it's perfectly logical to have that sort of doubt or fear because things like that, it is possible to bite off more than you can chew. But now the Russo brothers, right? That's their name. The directors.
yeah, they're doing it for. No,
Yeah.
are they doing it for? Yeah.
And now it's possible to wonder, is this like the first time they've bitten off more than they can chew? So I understand the worry in that situation. And as we saw from this trailer, which at this point, trailers are basically fucking small movies because they just like to show off everything.
Yeah, I mean, they showed a little way too much. Like,
they do that shit all, and it pisses me off. That's why I don't like watching trailers.
It's cool watching trailers, but like at the same time, it's ruining a lot of the movie. Like they definitely collaborated very well. They put things together. Like, yeah, it's like a mini movie, just like you said, where it shows you all these cool things, and it's almost like watching an AMV. Like, I don't know if you can.
Yeah, you're so right. If you guys don't know what AMVs are,
it is
for people tuning in.
On the hammer.
Yeah, they're like they're basically music videos, but they have anime in them and shit like that. And I think you're pretty spot on with that. That makes a lot of sense.
I think the way how. Like, I understand what you're saying, Sam, with like seeing how this movie might go because of just the immensity and the enormity of how this movie's going to play out. Because it's going to be, I think, over a 3-hour film.
Yeah, it's got to be.
And even though that still doesn't seem like it might be enough time just for everything that's going on, but I think that's the reason. And I'm sure you might have heard of it, like how this movie gets. How it's going to play out as a heist film. So I'm assuming whatever that means, like I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like I know how to like describe it, but I feel like I know what they mean.
Yeah.
Maybe the way how that film gets broken up, where it's going to be like, that's how it's going to go because of such of the enormity of the set pieces and the character lists, all the actors and all that. It's going to be broken up little by little, and then they're all going to probably conglomerate together and, finally not get deuces to deuces.
And that's the thing is that like I kind of understand. I think I know what's going to happen, but I think the curveballs is who's going to die, and is there going to be any more new characters revealed?
Oh, Jesus.
Because let's just face it, we know what the plot's going to be. They're going to steal all the stones. Thanos is going to beat up people. The Avengers are going to come together and defeat them.
They fucking showed that in the trailer.
So it's a predictable plot, but I'm hoping that I really hope they kill off some people just for dramatic effect because
that's Marvel's thing.
Yeah, and of course they'll reboot it, but I also want to hopefully they'll introduce some new characters, like maybe they'll show Captain Marvel. They'll show Captain Marvel for the first time, or
that'd be so fucking
I know.
Sick.
I've heard speculation that might be a possibility.
Yeah,
it's highly likely because I think they're probably going to show some sort of big character that hasn't had a whole lot of comeuppance in the whole Marvel series since it began. So it just might, like, whoever is going to just get thrown into there, they're just going to be in the film, and it's going to be like, you're just going to have to work with it. So
another thing that has...
It's going to be like a cool, super, like, something really bad's going on, and then, like, this person comes in, like, last second. And
it's
going to be like a minor act.
Their respective marbles. Another thing that just has me slightly worried is if you look back at the arc that the comic books follow, basically, I'm afraid that they might pull something like that on the movie. It's like all this shit, everything gets fucked up, and then as the Stone of Time, it's like, oh, everything's fixed now, and you're like, oh, okay, well, that just fucked with my heartstrings the entire movie. And then I don't think they're gonna do that because they take in strides of moving away from the comic book storylines in general, and they kind of have their own universe that they've built up over time. But I hope that they don't hearken to that, where we have big ass Deus Ex Machina fucking Time Stone coming into play after everyone gets their respective shit beat in. I hope they don't do something like that.
I don't think they will. They've been pretty good with that, and I like how this MCU is. They haven't been making the comic book universe really relevant, except for in certain aspects. Of course, certain timelines, those come into play in the way how some acts kind of play out, but it's not copy paste. And I feel like, you don't want that too, because what's going to happen. So it's interesting to see how they go to, in these movies, how they play things out and how some things get switched around a little bit. Because that way it's kind of new, it's kind of fresh, and it's not too far fetched, I mean, again, it's a superhero film. So like, things can be stretched out, but when it comes to it, like you don't want to have the same dry cut thing that you have already read in the comics when you were a kid. You know, you don't, as cool as it's, you know, to see that on the silver screen, you're going to see something just as equally, if not cooler, you know, given today with how Disney decides to run things. So I definitely believe, you know, we already know a list of people that are probably going to die. It's kind of just, you know, a toss of the coin and seeing, you know, who it's going to be or something like that. So that's going to be interesting to see. And I don't know. It's kind of we just got to hope Disney's up for it. You know, I really hope that they know what they're doing, and I believe so, because after this Avengers movie and then after Avengers 4, it's supposed to be a whole. Disney has stated it's supposed to be a whole different set.
Yeah, moving into
like,
a new
Marvel
phase.
Characters. Yeah, it's gonna be well, it's gonna be moving into the next phase where, because all these actors, their contracts are expiring. It's gonna be a new set of characters, a new set of actors for the new upbringing generation.
It's going to be the Secret. I think Secret Invasion's is the next phase of the Marvel. So you're going to see a lot of. You're going to see Kree and the Skrull, and
and they have 20-something films planned out. I think.
I think Captain Marvel's going to be the new Iron Man. She's going to be like, I think they're using her as like the new leader of the Marvel like heroes, because she's definitely in the comic. She is in the thick of the Secret Invasion series. So I'm really excited. My only concern is that if they do put new actors in, how are they going to explain it? Are they going to do the whole like ex machina of time travel or dimensions, or you know?
I'm not too sure, but I think they might kind of do some sort of weird clause where they might be mentioned but never shown. You know, or it could be CG or something like that, you know, because that seems to be a thing that has been slowly coming into play, where they might, like, some of these, you know, they might show kind of like a weird Robert Downey Jr., or like he just might be in the Iron Man suit, because, you know, that's pretty easy to show. But it just might be for like a short time or something like that, you know, for like a quick briefing. They might be older, you know, they might do something like that where it could be in the future. And also with now, I don't know if you heard with Disney trying to acquire 20th Century Fox, so they can get the rights with, well, they can get X-Men, they can get Fantastic Four, and with that on board, they can really freaking, you know, open the gates and do a lot.
Well, then the problem with that is that they're going to have a monopoly on these franchises, and unless they give creative control to the studios and stuff like that, then they're just going to have a monopoly, and everything's going to be sort of similar. But I think, what I'm happy about is movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor Ragnarok. Those movies, though they're in the Marvel universe, they still have a flair. Those directors are what's going to make the difference. So I really hope if they do this and they combine everything, give these directors creative license to make good movies. Make them don't make them superhero movies. Make them like good action movies. Make them good dramas. Make them good suspense movies. You know, use the comic book persona as a way of telling a great story instead of just categorizing it as a superhero movie. And that's what they've done. Like James Gunn did fantastic with Guardians of the Galaxy. Taika Waititi, like, I want to see more of his movies, because those are my favorite Marvel movies. It's Guardians and Thor Ragnarok. Just really fun, really funny, well written. Just don't take themselves too seriously. And that's what comics are. You know, they're great stories, but they're ridiculous and they're crazy. So we'll just have to see what happens.
Sounds good. So. Definitely a lot to look forward to in movies.
Disney taking over the world.
Yeah, modern day Hitler moving in. So, what was I going to say? So let's move on. We have going to our next segment. We have what to look for. So we're talking about some games that are coming out in this week. Until we speak to you again on Sunday, or I guess Tuesday. You know what I mean. So for this week, we have. On the 5th of December, we have Dead Rising 4, Frank's Big Package coming to PS4. We have Destiny 2, Curse of Osiris coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And we have Steep Road to the Olympics coming on to PS4, Xbox One, and PC. That's all on December 5th. On December 6th, we have Bravo Team coming to PSVR. On December 8th, we have Hello Neighbor coming to Xbox One and PC. And on December 9th, we have Loco Roco 2 Remastered coming to PS4. So, what about you guys? Any excitement in any of these titles we got coming out this week?
You forgot to mention something very important. December 6th, they're releasing Jak 2, Jak 3, Jak Combat Racing, and the rest of the Jak games. So I'm really excited. Yeah.
Oh, that's so PS4. Fucking cool. Are they remasters or just like you can buy the game?
There is remastered. It's gonna be a bundle because they released. If you pre-ordered the Lost Legacy or Uncharted Lost Legacy, you got a free copy of Jak and Daxter: The Precursor to Legacy as a pre-order bonus. I bought the game individually. I went ahead and platinum it. Super easy platinum. Really fun game. I played it on PS2. But they just announced it the other day that they're releasing the rest of the games as a bundle. So I'm really, really excited about that coming this week.
Excuse me. Now, Jak Precursor, they didn't have any guns in Precursor, right?
No, that was the fun platform, and then they went to the GTA style because GTA then took the world by storm.
I like Jak 2 and Jak 3. I thought they were pretty good.
Yeah, they're great. I never played Jak 3. I only played Jak 2, and I think I don't think I even finished Jak 2, so I'll then get back into that. And then they have the combat racing too, which I heard was all right, but we'll just have to see.
It's like the Mario Kart clone.
I think they were going more of like I think that's what they were trying to do, but they were making more of a serious thing. You can like customize your ride and stuff like that.
Yeah, so. I think I remember that. Okay, so that's that. Thank you for that, Sam. You guys got some stuff to look forward to for the week coming up. Something to throw money at developers for. So we're going to move on to some news. Not too much has happened. I mean, we talked about some of the bigger things already, but we have for... what was I going to say? Okay. Fucking keep losing my train of thought. So we have our first PS4 Nintendo Switch My Hero Academia game coming. We're getting a Boku no Hero Academia game to PS4 Nintendo Switch. Stop that. You're going to get me too hard, and then we can't continue the podcast. Well, I won't be able.
All the blood's gonna rush to his boner, and like he just can't have anything like go through his heart, so he's just gonna
just die with a hard cut.
Yeah.
He's gonna go full. He's gonna go full smash and break his arm.
Yeah. God damn it. So Bandai Namco has revealed. Oh, this is from Kevin Knezevic of GameSpot. You know, we like to stroke GameSpot's respective. What's the word I'm trying to think of? I can't think anymore. I'm telling you guys already.
You put the word stroke in there, so I mean, it's up to the individual mind there as to what you can be stroking.
Okay, so Bandai Namco recently. Okay, oh my bad. This is by Kevin Knezevic. I said that already. Jesus Christ. I'm telling you, you guys got me.
You're not gonna have a stroke right now, are you?
You guys got me too excited. So Bandai Namco recently unveiled a new My Hero Academia game for PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch titled My Hero Academia One's Justice. While the publisher hasn't revealed many details about the title yet, it showed off a new batch of screenshots giving fans their first look at the upcoming game. Like most other titles based on anime and manga series, My Hero Academia One Justice is an action game, or One's Justice. The new screenshots were shared on the game's official Japanese website via Silicerona, something like that, and show off the main protagonist, Izuku Midoriya, as well as the mysterious villain, Tomura Shigaraki, something like that. You can take a look at them. Oh, there's oh, yeah. Toyota.
I have a hand in my face and I can't see nothing through a finger.
He's so doofy looking, I'm not going to lie. My Hero Academia, as you all know, began as a manga series in Japan in 2014 and has been adapted into a popular anime. The story revolves around Izuku, who dreams of becoming a superhero despite being born without any quirks, which are superpowers that everyone else in the world possess. One other game based on the series, My Hero Academia Battle for All, launched on the 3DS last year, though thus far has only been released in Japan. Bandai Namco still hasn't announced a release date for My Hero Academia 1's Justice or whether it will come to the West, but the publisher says it will reveal more details about the upcoming title during the Jump Fiesta 2018 Expo in Japan this month. The first trailer for 1's Justice is slated to premiere at the Expo on December 16th. So, and it's coming to the fucking States. If Attack on Titan games came to the States, My Hero Academia games are coming to the States. It's almost as fucking popular. So,
yeah, I feel like this, and I know I'm not trying to compare it to it, but I feel like this is getting traction like Naruto did, because Naruto was one of those it was other than Dragon Ball Z that got really, really popular. So I feel like this is one of those animes that is going to hit America, and I really wish more people would talk about it because I really think the show is great. Like a lot of people, those high school shows, a lot of it is a lot of cliches and a lot of just a lot of high school drama and stuff. But this show really, I feel like one of those animes that I really want to watch again and again and again. Like I said, great character development, and it's really great that they looked at other characters too. Like they really give you a good sense of how each of them has anxieties and their weaknesses, and how it all just encompasses together. And then of course the music is just
oh my
great.
Fucking god! Embodies the spirit of heroic mentality.
It does, and I gotta say also too is that there's very little fan service. There's a few characters in there that are definitely fan service related, but I have to say
What's her name? I forget her name. What's that girl with the weird
Miss Bad?
The girl that she has creation.
There's Miss Mountain.
Well, Miss Mountain, I guess. But the one that has creation as her perk that she's literally wearing fucking nothing.
Oh,
I forget her name. She's very strategic and methodical.
Yeah,
I forget her name.
So there are moments like that, but I have to say it didn't distract me. It didn't take me out of it. It made me
fucking desensitized at this point, which isn't a
so
good thing.
So I'm really excited, and I'm gonna pre-order it, and I'm probably gonna buy it physical, which I never buy games physical except for Switch games. So I'm really, really looking forward to this.
Why is her name not on the official website? Get the fuck out of here, Wiki. Where's her name? Characters. If I see the name, I could tell where it's. Are you serious? Is it? It's not that new. It's been out for a year, and I can't find the name of the fucking characters. My anime list. Let's try that. They're pretty good at it. I'm sorry for all you listening. This is not how your characters and staff.
I was just way off today, guys. Sorry, I'm going to apologize ahead of time.
Mister, I've never here. I'm just fucking with you. What is his name? I have the name for female reporter. What is her name? She's not that unimportant.
Yeah, she's
She has a whole episode where she grows a bit.
That can mean many things.
Oh my god, I can't find her anywhere. Oh, Yao Yozuru Momo.
Yeah,
that's her name.
Yeah. She's able to create
she's cool.
Boners and kids' pants.
I like how the name of the theme song is by a group called Porno Graffiti. It's fucking awesome. And there's also, I think another song. No, they did a song for Blood Blockade Battlefront, and the name of the group is called Piece of Chicken, I think, or some shit like that. Fucking Japan. When they're pop punk bands are a dime a dozen, they come up with the dumbest names. It's fucking ridiculous. It is very exciting, and I don't know if it'll get as big as Naruto. You could see it growing quite a bit, and I hope it gets bigger because I feel you. It's basically shonen reformed into it has a goal, and it doesn't. There's barely any filler. You always feel like you're advancing in the plot. There's always something interesting going on, and animation is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm getting a DC vibe from this too, which I'm really happy about. Because All Might feels like Superman and all those other muscle bound heroes, and then you have 13, which she's just so crazy and different. She's kind of reminds me of
it's the spacesuit lady, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's great that they're incorporating all these different characters, and I don't know. I'm just really excited that
it's a very it's a very fresh take on a superhero tale. Like we've seen superhero stuff before, but this is a nice look at someone. I mean, again, it follows typical shonen plot points, and it's something that we've all seen before. It's just they kind of pulled a Blizzard where they took something that's been established and they reworked it and made it much more condensed and a lot more detail and passion put into it. So it feels like a perfected form of what that type of media is, which is what Blizzard usually does with their games when they take a game and make something new out of it. So that's kind of what this is. Yeah. It's a whole new generation of shonen that it takes a look at more of the what's the word for like mental, I can't think of the word, psycho whatever. It takes a look at the minds of the characters going through this growth. It's showing us what the struggles that people are going through, and again, you've seen that in shonen, but it feels a lot more of a condensed story. It's something that you could grasp easily, and something that you don't feel like, oh, I gotta watch 600 episodes of this. There's no way, as far as I can tell, there's no way in hell this show's going to be 600 episodes. I could see it hitting a couple more seasons, but as far as from what I understand where the manga's at, it's coming close to an end. And then on top of that, the show is maybe a fourth of the way there. So we might see about 100, maybe something around Hunter x Hunter, 100 to 200 episodes. But I'm in it for the long run. I'm excited to see what happens. From what I've seen from the manga, shit hits the fan very hard, and there's a lot of just... as Deku grows and gets more accustomed to his power. I'm going to avoid
the manga.
Yeah, shit hits the fan hard as fuck. Like, there was a day, there's like, when one of the chapters came out, like, I had to stay completely away from all social media that I followed that dealt with this, because it was like a day of infamy. I'd only heard about it in stories because there was something incredibly bad that happened.
Oh, and man, I can just imagine.
I've completely stayed away from it, so I don't want to see it. But just crazy. It's a very good, if you wanna look into it, watch it. I know it's on Crunchyroll, and I think it's on Hulu as well.
Yes, it is on Hulu.
So those are two easy ways to watch it. And Hulu is technically, I think Hulu is free. Well, so is Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll is free as well. You don't need to need to pay for either of those services.
I've got I share a thing with my sister and brother-in-law, and then they use my Netflix, so we share that. So
I'm not gonna lie, it does start kind of slow. I'm not gonna lie. It does. It's a little slow to get rared up, but like end of first season into second season, you're once you kind of understand, oh, this is the world that I'm in, and these are the characters that I'm supposed to be attracted to, then you kind of go with it. Another show that's coming to Netflix, talking about Netflix, that's going to be fucking really cool is what's it called? The Violet Evergarden, which is a Kill Annie show that is coming to Netflix. It's coming only to Netflix for streaming rights. And the thing about it, the way Netflix is, they have to have an entire show when they post something, so we have to wait a couple months until it fully comes out, sadly. So it's going to be like a little bit into next year. But it just looks fucking gorgeous. You need to search that after this, Sam. Just search up Violet Evergarden, and the trailer for it looks so gorgeous. It's about like this girl that she loses both her hands, and they get replaced with like robotic hands, almost like Automail from Full Metal Alchemist. And she it's, I don't know, I'm not entirely sure what's going on because it's just a trailer, and usually not a lot is shown in a PV for an anime. But it's just it's Kill Annie. And they've made other shows. They did Kill Annie does I have the shows on the tip of my they did the one about the band. I forget what it's called. Give me 1 second. Again, I keep forgetting we have a fucking computer right in front of us. I'm gonna search it up real quick. So Kyoto Animation, or Kill Annie for short, they've done Clannad, they've done Chunibyo Demo Koigachitai, they've done Hyoka, they've done Kyokai no Kanata, they did Lucky Star, they did Koe no Katachi, which we actually reviewed on the show. It's a movie that was fucking fantastic. They did K-On! Free, Amagi Brilliant Park, thinking the ones that they did the Suzumiya Haruhi no Shoshitsu, or the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, Musaigi no Phantom Worlds, just the Full Metal Panic they worked on, again the free shows, but they Hibiki Euphonium, that's what it's called. It's a show about like a high school band. Tomako Market, but all of their shows, like the way that they look, their backgrounds, there's just so much detail, and they look so fucking gorgeous. Like it's almost like on the level of like, is this a picture, or did someone actually sit there and draw this? It's crazy. So All right, we need to keep moving. Fuck.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm sitting here. We talk about anime and I lose my shit. I'm sorry. You're your resident weeb. So we have another article. This is an Amazon Alexa-enabled physical Destiny ghost. Will actually talk to you while you play. And this is Eddie Macic of GameSpot. So Activision is teaming up with Amazon for a pretty cool new Destiny 2 gadget. This $90 physical ghost connects to Amazon's Alexa device so you can talk to it to equip weapons, learn more about quests, and among other things. It's basically the game's ghost in real life, which is cool and possibly a little unsettling at the same time.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. For example, you can say, Alexa, ask Ghost what I should do next, and it will tell you what to do. You can also say, Alexa, ask Ghost to equip my most powerful weapon, and it will do it for you. There are apparently over 1,000 custom voice commands that are supported. You can see a further rundown of what you can say to Alexa, blah, blah, blah. The Destiny 2 physical ghost is compatible with all versions of the game and apparently releases in December. We heard blah blah blah. I heard about this. So that was Eddie Macic of GameSpot. That sounds really fucking cool. But here's a list of other things that the physical ghost includes. So we could explore the universe, ask and receive custom dialogue lines that will expand your knowledge of Destiny 2's worlds and characters you'll encounter on the journey. Like saying, Alexa, ask Ghost who are the Red Legion. Find out what to do next. Based on your progress inside the game, you'll receive unique recommendations for things to do inside the massive world of Destiny 2 in real time. Like saying, Alexa, ask Ghost what I should do next. Manage your arsenal. We talked about that. Connect with friends. You can send messages to friends, find out who's online and ready to play, and stay on top of clan progress, and much more. Like we said, around 1,000 custom lines to discover. That sounds really fucking cool. I'm not going to spend $90 on something like that. But if it also depends how big it is, because just to have a little ghost statue in your room is cool enough. And then on top of that, it's got like actual features that you could use in the game. I mean, I think the coolest thing is like the lore. Like if there's custom dialogue that's only attached to this ghost of like, what's his name? Who's the ghost voice actor? Fuck, I forget.
Nolan North.
Nolan North, yeah. If you could just have Nolan North talk to you and explain things to you that you wouldn't normally hear in the game, that's pretty fucking cool. Like he could just give you a little history lesson on the Red Legion. That's something that you normally wouldn't be able to hear in the game. Yeah. That's pretty fucking cool. You have like a little what are those things? You have a little Grimoire card like that sits right next to you. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, again, it's $90, so it's only for people. I can't see a lot of people buying this, but if it's like if it's like a big ghost statue that just sits there, that's pretty fucking cool. I'd buy something like that. I spent more money on dumber shit, so that's definitely interesting. And I did not see this coming at all. So, our next article, we have Nintendo Switch is officially getting Shin Megami Tensei 5 in the West.
Yes.
This is Chris Perriera of GameSpot. Oh my god. Discord. Discord just went off. Fuck. Shut up. You guys are too loud. I apologize for that.
What you talking about, Willis?
What you talking about, Willis? I need to mute this group. Okay, I forget that like Discord groups can be muted on top of that, of servers. Don't mind that. So we're officially getting Shin Megami Tensei 5 in the West, which is really cool. As Chris Perry of GameSpot, earlier this year, Atlas teased us that a new Shin Megami Tensei game was in development for the Nintendo Switch. Last month, it revealed it as the next core entry in the series, Shin Megami Tensei 5. We've now learned that the game is officially on the way to the West. The announcement of SMTV was entirely in Japanese. This left open the possibility that it would not be localized outside of Japan. Though that would have been a surprise, Atlas has now confirmed that expected, stating that a Western release is planned for the RPG. It also shared an English version of that same trailer for last month. Atlas's announcement simply states that the game is coming to the West, and the publisher has since confirmed that with GameSpot, that it will be released in both North America and Europe. The price and release date have not been announced. And we really don't know much about Shin Megami Tensei 5. Usually they're set in like modern Tokyo, and there's apocalyptic settings in the case. There's press releases that have stated that players will face a new players will face a new onslaught of demons in the latest from the highly acclaimed series. And there's also been no indication that Shin Megami Tensei 5 will come to any platform besides the Switch. So it might be a Switch exclusive. But before, we've seen Shin Megami Tensei series on the 3DS. So they might get like a side game coming to the 3DS with the core entry hitting the Switch. But it's definitely super exciting. But Atlas has kind of been on both sides because they've been. I think they're more of a fan of Sony, but they work with Nintendo before as well, as we've seen.
Yeah.
So I wonder what Nintendo had to do to get Shin Megami Tensei 5 coming to the Switch. It's a bigger game in Japan than the States, but I've heard of a lot of people that have played the Shin Megami Tensei series. The Persona series is a branch of Shin Megami Tensei. So if you like the Persona games, this is kind of like that. At least the battle system is they're closely connected. Although the worlds themselves are different. They're usually much darker. There's usually more death involved, and it's a much more mature game. But they're both fantastic series. If you have a chance to go back and play any of the other Shin Megami Tenseis, I highly recommend it. They're really good.
Yeah, I never really played those because of the content. I guess I wasn't say I was sheltered, but I was just like, I know I would never be able to buy those games. But now that I played Persona 5, I feel like, man, I really want to get into the game that was inspired, or the original game that it branched off of. So I'm really excited about it. And of course, coming to Switch is just a plus. So I still need to finish Persona 5. But
you monster.
I know. But what I've played, I'm really excited, and I'm really glad I'm getting back into JRPGs because I did play them, for a few years and stuff, and that really got a fire in me. Like, hey, I really want to play more JRPGs. So, really, really excited about this.
Yeah. Real quick, have you guys seen? Speaking about Japan, a little segue. Have you guys seen this? The new Batman samurai thing that came out of Japan recently.
What?
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm gonna send it to you, Tyler, so you can look at it. But
I'm really not excited about it, to be honest.
Yeah, explain.
It looks kind of shitty because it's all CG. But here, how about you watch it, Tyler? CG. Here, you watch it, Tyler, and see what you think, and then you get back to us. It's really weird, and it just feels so out of place. But I mean, I guess
it looks so good. But why can't you done hand drawn?
Oh, I mean, I'm not entirely against CG because I really liked.
I'll probably watch it, but
I'm gonna watch it too.
It just looks so robotic. Like I don't see any fluidity to it.
It's not as bad as fucking. Man, I'm blanking so hard tonight. But what's that? The show Berserk. It's not as bad as Berserk's animation.
Yeah.
But it's still CG is not at a level where or they don't get enough budget to a point where they can make it really good Pixar styles 3D graphics. But I do understand where you're coming from with the CG. I don't particularly hate CG, but I can understand wanting it to be actually fucking
the character
hand-drawn.
Designs look fantastic.
Oh yeah, they look bad.
Oh yeah, I saw some of this before.
But why can't you done a beautifully hand-drawn anime Batman? I've been waiting for something like this for a long time, and when they finally announced, they had actually announced this a while back, and then they showed this footage, and I was like, I'm still gonna see it, but it's just it could just be so much better if it was just hand drawn animation. And I love CGI. I think CGI is great. CGI is the way of the future, but there's just something about hand drawn animation that is just so classic, and just there's so much thought and artistry, and just you can definitely just feel the passion behind these artists when they make these things.
Yeah, definitely.
And you just lose it when you use CGI. It's there's just I don't know. That's what I'm coming from. I'm still gonna watch it because it's Batman and it's in Japan. But
it's Batman, correct?
Batman,
Joker.
Which actually really interesting. I actually found in Barnes and Nobles there's actually a Batman manga that was made back in during the 60s and 70s that these artists made their own Batman comic. It's really interesting. So if you're in Barnes and Nobles and you're in the comic section, try to look for it. But it's really cool. It's it actually has some history in it that explains how Batman was actually pretty popular in Japan and how they had their own manga series there. So
That's cool as shit.
Just a little trivia for you there.
Yeah, there you go. And also, speaking of animation, we're having a segue within a segue. Me and Caitlyn, we've recently been watching all the Ghibli movies. We talked about it last week, but we watched the final movie in this section. We saw Howl's Moving Castle. Absolutely adored it. Fantastic.
You liked it?
Fantastic. So good. And it was so crazy, Tyler, because the main voice actor for Howl is Christian Bale. So hearing Christian Bale, it was so weird, especially when he was starting to lose control of his power and he was starting to talk in a raspy voice. Yeah. And I'm like, oh shit, that's Batman. Oh, so that we talked about that last week. Fantastic. We really liked the movie, and it's in it's up there with the other ones that we've seen amongst the 4 or 5 that we watched in the last couple of months. But fantastic films. But speaking of that, they have a new film coming out from Yonebayashi, which is one of the directors of Ghibli, but the movie's not under Ghibli, but it's under Yonebayashi's name. He's directing, and it's called Mary and the Witch's Flower, and that's actually coming out. It's premiering in like January, and we found it on Fandango, and we're going to go see that too. So we're still trying to keep the tradition alive, and we're going to go see Mary and the Witch's Flower as well. And that one looks, it's crazy because Flash, imagine the love of Ghibli and all that shit and that animation, but like in like 2017. So it's like really crisp looking. Yeah. It's so fucking cool. I'm so excited to go see it. So that looks awesome. Definitely excited. So, goodness, I'm very sick. So I apologize for my coughs. Jesus, mute the mic. All right, I just coughed my shit out. So we're going to move on to our Game of the Year predictions. As we said before, we have the Game Awards on December the 7th. It is a Thursday. You can watch it online. And they said it's on TV. I don't know what channel it'll be on, or even what time. But you could all find it from...
Yeah, I was about to say, what time was it? Because
let me see. Let me see. Game Awards, I have the website.
Spike might have it.
Spike did have it, but then it became its own thing.
Latest news. They recently showed off all the people that are going to be there, but I want to know when it's playing, what time. They're going to have Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro there, so I'm excited. They might show off. They might show off something for Death Stranding, which would be
probably
really cool.
And Jeff Keighley's going to be gushing over Hideo.
We making sweet love to each other. It says December 7th across all major digital gaming and social platforms. Add to calendar, maybe. I think I have to add it to my calendar. Let me see if this will work. I just want to know, when is the fucking event happening? What time? It is happening.
5:30.
It says 8:30 to 11:30 p.m.
That's it says 5:30 Pacific time. So
okay. So 5:30 Pacific time. We're on East Coast, so that's 8:30 to 11:30 p.m. That's a pretty long event. 3 hours. Holy shit. So
yeah, it usually lasts so long.
That's how award shows are. It's just they have all this fluff and stuff in between. They have to have all this,
there's like maybe only like an hour of actual
award shows going on. The rest of it's all fucking music.
Let's be honest. If award shows acted like, if they really just went straight through all the awards, literally a half hour.
Yeah, it wouldn't be long at all. It'd be like a 15-minute show. I mean, you could just rain all Game of the Year, best game direction, best narrative, best art direction. All right, people comes up, talks for 3 minutes. Yeah, tip your waiter on the way out. Go fuck yourself. Yeah, it's like held in a local Burger King. All right, so like I said, it's coming up. We're excited. We're going to see what the gaming community, everyone comes together and sees what the best games of 2017 have been. And 2017, the reason I'm particularly excited, has been a fantastic year. So it's really cool to see what everyone comes together and thinks are the best games of this year and what should be winning these categories. The three of us are going to go. We're going to go through each category. I want to read the nominees. We're going to talk about what we think will win and what we think should win. So
now, real quick, where is the cutoff? Because I never really understood where a lot of these games that come out. So yeah, it'd be for Game of the Year 2017, whatever. A lot of these games that come out like the last quarter of the year, and it's
they get through that. While
some of these games have been fresh off.
I think it's until like like the voting stops, because Mario Odyssey got in there.
I don't know.
Mario Odyssey,
it bothers me because some games have. I mean, yeah, if it's like a huge game like Mario Odyssey, that's one thing. But if you get like a no show game, kind of like that, and it's kind of like that'll come out the last quarter.
Yeah,
that's not going to have a chance at all. But what if
it's good?
Chance?
If it's good enough, it will apply to next year.
Oh,
it's like a fiscal year kind of.
Yeah.
Except it's not the fiscal year.
That's usually how it works.
Yeah. So it will apply to next year's Game Awards if it's that good. They're not going to leave it out. But I understand where you're coming from. But Mario made it in. I think it has to be somewhere like a couple of weeks before the show starts. I don't fucking know. So let's go over all the categories. We're going to start with Game of the Year, obviously. Now, this is not a popularity vote. This is done by a panel of judges. They're going to, or a panel of voters. They're from different publications. They're going to come. They're going to see what the best game of the year. And I don't really know how they gauge this, if they go based on game's talent and like how it's put together, or if they go on its impact. But we're going to go over what games are present, and we'll talk about that. So for Game of the Year, according to the Game Awards website, we have Game of the Year is recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. So there you go. I answered my own question. For these, we have Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, PUBG or PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Persona 5, and Horizon Zero Dawn. So let's set up an order. So for all these, we're going to have Sam go first, then Tyler, and I'll go last. So what you think, Sam?
Okay. I hate to say this, but I'm discounting PUBG just because I didn't play it, and I watched enough of it to see that, yes, it looks like a very fun game, but, and I know there's controversy with the early access thing, is technically not been released. Technically, it's still like a version point something like whatever.
It's still not in its.
So on that alone, I'm gonna have to put that at the bottom, just because, like I said, now I have played Persona, I played Horizon, and I played Super Mario, and I played Legends on it. So I've been contemplating this for a while, and I'm gonna say that it's for me. It's between Mario and Zelda. Now, Horizon Zero Dawn, I played quite a bit. I didn't finish it. I got probably about halfway through. Fantastic. The graphics and the art design is just beautiful. The story and characters is just a fantastic way of this is how world building does it. You look at Witcher. Witcher has a great world building. It has great characters, great environments, and that's what Horizon did. Persona 5, it was fantastic. The style of it was just great. It was so cool, so fresh, and it was a little wordy with its text, but I actually read everything. Like, I actually read through. I loved how it explored each character's struggle and how they're able to awaken that power inside. I definitely I would put Horizon above PUBG, and then Persona 5, and then for me it comes down to this. So Legend of Zelda was Breath of the Wild was just a brand new take on Zelda. Open world game, just the freedom to do what you want and to not have your hand held through it, which is unusual with Nintendo, because Nintendo loves its tutorials. Very minimal tutorials. The first tutorial area took about an hour or so, maybe, and then after that, you're free to do whatever you want. And given that freedom is just amazing. Just being able to create your own adventures, create your own ways of figuring out how to do these shrines, which the shrines I thought were great. They definitely gave replayability, and they were all unique. None of them were the same. None of them felt like tedious things, although there were a couple of them that used motion control, and that really kind of put me off, but I got over it. So Zelda just blew me away the first time I played it. Then Mario comes out, and this thing about Mario is just fun. It's just a fun game. It is what a video game should be. It shouldn't be where you're stressed over if you have enough lives or if you're running out of ammo. It should just be you can just jump around, collect things, just enjoy a game. Just enjoy. That's what we love when we were growing up. We played games to have fun and enjoy it. So I I'm gonna have to give it to Mario on fun factor and gameplay alone. I have not played a game this fun and this creative and just overall just blow me away with just how much respect they give this series. This game is a love letter to all the people who played Mario when they were little, who played on the NES, their Super Nintendo, and from then on. So I just think that this game deserves Game of the Year. Now, what I think will win is probably going to be Zelda, just because of how it changed the franchise. So my pick is Mario, but I think Zelda's going to win.
What about you, Tyler? Now, I know for disclaimer for the audience, I've played just about every game on these lists. I think Sam is close to playing and finishing about every game on this list. Sam's close, and I think Tyler's probably sitting at the lowest when it comes to the amount of games.
Which is why I'm gonna honestly keep mine pretty short and simple, just from general knowledge and what I've seen from either. I've watched. So I'll start off with the only game I've played out of all these was I played a little bit of Breath of the Wild. I have seen gameplay. Watched it. I watched you play, Kyle. I watched you play a little bit of it. I've seen a lot of gameplay on it on YouTube, as well as Mario. PUBG, I've seen and heard so much about it, but I don't feel comfortable enough with giving a game like that. Even though, like, when you first said like what fits the description of Game of the Year, I don't know. That's really tough for me because like when it's solely because that's a solely multiplayer game, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I go to draw the line. Even though
stomp your foot down, let the world know.
Well, that's just my preference. Everyone has their own opinions and whatnot, and whatever you feel, whatever makes it justifiable. But for me, it's the overall gameplay experience, which of course for others, some people could love that game to the death, and more power to you. But kind of like what Sam said too, I'm pretty sure Zelda is most likely to win. However, I feel like Mario might have a chance at it. I would like Horizon Zero Dawn to come out above as this being that newer game, and kind of like arising between the top two big Nintendo dogs, all the way the Nintendo's like two primary games that have kept them that have been around for so long. And whenever like the last Mario Zelda game came out, that was like Game of the Year, like pretty much for every single following title beforehand, for major releases. So I believe I would like Horizon Zero Dawn to win. I would probably put that at second. I'd put Mario at third, PUBG at the bottom, with Persona 5, because I've seen you play that too. And I played Persona 5. I played that a good amount too with you. I like that, but that's not entirely my sort of play style for the most part. Although creative as it was, I did enjoy it, but it wouldn't be a game for continuous play, like playability for myself. Not just my taste. No offense to you, Kyle, because I know you love that game. And then Zelda for me would be at the top because just like the theme and everything, and what I draw from my childhood and video games for me as a whole, that started my whole career playing video games. And again, like you said, what a video game or what a Game of the Year should hold, and its sense of entitlement and just playability overall, and it's all about the fun and experience. So I feel like you can get most of that out of the Zelda game, especially it being, first of all, the brand itself, the name itself, Zelda, and then its new twist, its new style compared to its traditional like 3D model, where now it's so much more open world, sandboxy than how its previous games were. More modernized, where there's so much more you can do now, which makes it so much more vast and just gives you so much more to do. So yeah, I mean, again, though, I would like Horizon Zero Dawn though, so I'm really tied between those two, just because I like to see more of the. I would put Horizon as like more of the underdog, because it technically is underneath Mario and Zelda, just because those games have been around for so long. but I wouldn't mind seeing either of those two win. I'd flip a coin. Like I really would, congratulate either one of them, and all the other ones up there. They're all, I would believe, pretty good games to be thrown in there for Game of the Year. The one I'm not surprised I wasn't thrown there. I think Wolfenstein should also be thrown in there.
But we're still not done with all the categories. Like, another thing with this is, even if something doesn't win Game of the Year, it could still win awards down the line, because a lot of these are repeats.
Yeah, I think Wolfenstein could have probably been thrown in there too, even though, like I said, like that being released like just so late in. But I feel like just that sort of storytelling and just the bizarreness of that game style, I think it's very interesting to me. I feel like that could definitely be up there, but probably not win, but definitely be like a lower competitor or contender. That's just my own preference though. But so there you have it.
Yeah, I think all of these games do something excellently. Now, when we look at these contenders, they're all here for a reason, obviously. Either their impact on the gaming community, or the way the amount of passion and love put into making the game and the development of it as a whole. And I think, like I said, all these games have a considerable thing that they do well that has them up here. I think Zelda Breath of the Wild has a fantastic sense of freedom that it imbues in the player, and it allows it to where you can think, will this work? And almost 9 times out of 10, it ends up working, and you have a way of freedom in every aspect, whether I want to go over there and do stuff over there, or I want to solve this puzzle this certain way. And again, 9 times out of 10, it usually works. Now, the things that I don't think it has going for it is, I don't think it has a very encapsulating world or story. I don't think again, it's Zelda. I don't like the fact that I thought there was a lot more opportunity to do more with this reboot, because I consider this a reboot, and if you look back at the original OG Zelda, I consider this like a advanced version of that. In the first Zelda, much like this one, you were dropped into a world that was in a way open, and you were told, explore, go find out what you can do and what you can't do. That's the same thing that happens in Breath of the Wild. So I see that connection a lot, that they basically took their first debut Zelda game and retooled it and made it much more open. And I see that in this game. But I think they had so much more opportunity to create more. And then this is their first step into open world, and I think they did a fantastic job on this first attempt. But I think it would have been cool if to take this opportunity, seize this opportunity, and maybe make different changes to the Zelda formula. I felt like the dungeons in themselves were not very grandiose or epic. I felt like a lot of times the boss battles were in a way recycled. If you look at the assets, a lot of the assets in this game have been recycled. You look at every single of one of the temples you go into, they're all exactly the same assets. They're just different. They look different. And again, I know it's a huge game. There's a lot to it. But I feel like after that, it creates a sense of mundane. As you move from shrine to shrine trying to get these upgrades, it hit me hard as fuck. I beat the game. I had so much more I could do. I didn't want to. And there was nothing else going on in gaming at the time. I had no want to get 900 fucking Korok seeds. I felt like the game itself did not do enough of a good job of making me want to complete it. I had no desire. And I felt a lot of that was because if you truly look at the game from like a things to do standpoint, it's pretty empty. I mean, there's side quests you could walk into, and there's towns you can visit, but for a huge portion of the map, if you're not doing shrines or Korok seeds, there's literally nothing to do. There might be a base here or there. And again, I understand this is their first attempt. This is their first step into open world, and I think they did a very good job. I just have so many issues with the formula of trying to fit a Zelda game that is usually, you're very restrained in most Zelda games to something. They'll create a mechanic, and that encapsulates the game. Time travel, driving a boat or whatever. There'll be one mechanic that controls everything you do. And it felt like for this game, the mechanic that they picked was freedom. And I think that they did an excellent job creating that sense of freedom from everything you do in the game. And like you said, Sam, it's not very handholdy. A lot of the game leads to allowing you to create your own experiences by just playing the game. Because there's different ways you can take, or ways you can go about completing a game or the game. So But I think that the cons, with so many other fantastic games that we've had this year, I don't feel like I want it to win, because like Tyler said, every time a Zelda game comes out, everyone's all over it until we take a couple months, look back at it, and like, man, this game wasn't really that good. And it almost always happens. So, oh, geez, that was kind of just my really quick version of what Zelda... I think Zelda's going to win. I'm not going to lie. Zelda had the biggest splash, and it was the best game relatively compared to everything else with their split, like what kind of effect that they had on the gaming community. This had the biggest splash. PUBG had a big splash, but I think the game as a whole, it's just, again, I'm with you. It's just a multiplayer game. It has a fun gameplay element to it, but it's not something that I think beats out all these other fantastically crafted games compared to an Arma mod like I put online. So Super Mario Odyssey, I think, does a good job of just creating fun. Like you said, it's raw fun put into a fucking cartridge. Everything about it, there's a charm to it where you just want to walk around and explore. You want to move around with Mario, the charm, the worlds, the way they've been designed, the colorfulness of everything. It just gives you this sense of joy. You feel like a child again. And I think Nintendo being able to constantly recreate that without making it feel like the same game is just such an art that they manage to do every year, or every time they release a new Mario game. So I think Mario has that going for it, and it's very good. And there's not much that you can say is bad with Mario. My biggest complaint is there's too many moons that have that are fucking useless. There's like ground pound this ground spot that glows so you can see where it is, and you get a free moon. And understand, there's 999 moons. It reminds me of the fucking Korok seeds from Zelda, except they do it better because there's more of a puzzle attached to every single one of them.
Yeah.
So, but besides that, the worlds, the music, like there's a genuine moment in the game that I'm not going to talk too much about that made me feel like, holy shit, this is everything that I've done my entire life, my gaming like history, everything about what made me where I am in the gaming sense is encapsulated in this one like 10-minute or not even like 5-minute thing. And I literally like shed a tear. I cried a single tear because it was that cool. Too. And it's just, but that was like that. I could see that being seen as, oh, holy shit, let's get a good old nostalgia punch in the gut too. And you could see that could be manipulative in a way. And I understand that because I've heard that from people. But that's what Nintendo's best at, manipulating nostalgia. So PUBG, I'm not going to talk much about it. I already said it. It's a multiplayer game. A lot of people like it. I don't really see why it's blown so big. I've played it. I can't say I haven't. I have like 30 hours into it because I like playing it with friends, but I won't sit there and play it by myself. Every single one of these games I'll sit and play by myself, but I won't play PUBG by myself because it has no merit on its own, at least in my opinion. Coming to Persona 5, I think every time they make a Persona game, they continue to perfect their formula. I think Persona in itself has something to say in the fact that it can keep me engrossed in a story about a couple high schoolers for over 150 hours. I think that alone has something to say for how well written the characters and story are. I think that's pretty cool. The gameplay in itself is fun. It's Persona Fair, turn-based RPG. It hasn't really changed much, but I think a lot of it comes to the charm of the game and the writing of the story and characters. Something that can make me stay interested in a world for so long has some form of merit that it should have. I don't think it should win Game of the Year. I thought it was a fantastic game, but I've been playing Persona for the past fucking 6 years, so I know what I was getting into when I picked up the game. I was genuinely surprised by how fucking flashy and the music in it was, but I don't think it's outperformed these other contenders. And then Horizon, I felt that Horizon graphically was fantastic, and that the gameplay in itself was awesome. I think it has a very high contender, and the fact that its gameplay was so well designed, and the fact of learning how to defeat these robotic dinosaurs, it was just something that made you feel like such a badass, from the way that you could slow down time to the way you're taking down giant machinery with just arrows and elements. It had something to say for itself in gameplay alone. But now when it comes to story, quest design, and the other lots, I did not really feel it. I did platinum the game. I completed it. It wasn't very hard. It only took me 40 hours to complete the game, or like 50 hours, I think, something along those lines. But when it comes to story and characters, I cannot say that I did not even see. I straight up saw story plots from fucking 10 hours in. I could see, oh, this might happen, and boom, it happens, and I'm like, well, I wasn't really surprised. So I can't say much about the story and characters. I don't think it was enough to keep me. I finished the game, obviously, but I don't think it was enough to beat out these other games. But in its gameplay, it has something to say. So I think all these games have a reason they're up here, obviously, and they have something to stay in different categories. So that's why I'm so torn on what I think should win. And I think it should win Game of the Year, Nier Automata, because that game made me fucking break down as a human being. But it's not up here. So I think Zelda's going to win. And I think I want Zelda to win because I want to see a better Zelda than this. I want to see their next iteration. So I want Nintendo to know, hey, you made a good game, but I want to see something better. So that's my opinions on that. Oh, hopefully the other ones don't take as long, or we're going to be here for like the next 10 years. So the thing is, we talked about a good portion of the games already. So the rest of these, we won't have much to say on because we've already discussed them. So we kind of laid out our front work right off the bat. So we're going to move on to the next one. We have Best Game Direction. And Best Game Direction is awarded to a game studio for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. So here we have Wolfenstein 2, Resident Evil 7, Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, and Horizon Zero Dawn. So what do you think, Sam?
I'm kind of torn with this one because I have not played Wolfenstein 2. I haven't had anything spoiled for me. I have watched quite a bit of Resident Evil 7. And I don't know if I could give it to that because of it's more of an experience than it is like, I mean, there's innovation in it that definitely gives it's bringing it to the survival horror genre, but there's not much direction in it. There's not much you could really say that would like give it, that would give a nod to its direction. I mean, they innovate in a way where it brings the survival horror genre to a fresh point. But again, I just felt like it was just another survival horror. So I'm gonna probably say that it's gonna be between Zelda and Horizon. Mario innovates quite a bit, but the direction is sort of the same. You're still collecting items. You're still doing the same thing you've done for the past 30 years with Mario. So the innovation comes in the mechanics, which is fine, but overall, I feel like it's still sort of the same Mario game. So in the terms of direction, I don't think it would take it. So I'm going to have to probably, and like you said, Zelda's great, but the problem with Zelda is that the story is sort of disjointed because of how big it is and how open it is. And that each of the individual like big boss fights and ways you interact with the different inhabitants feels disjointed, and it's the same sort of thing over and over again. It's the same save the princess. So Horizon Zero Dawn I think should get it because it's. Now I haven't finished the game, but I've heard about it, and I like it more because it takes something old, something archaic, and it combines it with a dystopian future, and how it melds together nature and technology. And that alone to me is just awesome. Being able to fight these giant robots that are biomechanical is just amazing. I think just the overall world of this game is awesome. The world building, the lore, everything you learn about what's going on, all the secrets you find and everything. I think that alone gives it, I think should give it the best direction on just how fresh it is, on how fresh of a story it is, and how that type of like environment. So I'm gonna give it to Horizon.
All right, Tyler.
Sam kind of no Sam kind of said it all for me. I totally agree. I like the style of how Horizon has that kind of environment with technology, with like the hybrid cross between nature and technology. That was like such a freaking cool idea. Like that was. I remember first seeing when this game came out and just like, wow, that looks freaking amazing. You know, it just blew me away. And then, well, we all know how I can get. A lot of things can make me go, wow, what the fuck? That was awesome. You know, you guys. But that really things like that. That it really like spoke out for me in terms of like creativity, and something with a game like that and its vastness. I definitely shit. I forgot I have a PlayStation. Why do I not have that fucking game yet? You know, like that. That's what it makes me. That's what it makes me say to myself, like, how do I not have this game yet? Well, shit. Well, next time I go down south, I'm gonna. See, my PlayStation isn't with me right now. Just a quick sidebar conversation. I'm gonna be taking that up with me next time. I'm probably gonna go buy that game and play the fuck out of it. Nice. So, but with that said, yes, Sam really said it for me. I do like, you know, of course, with Breath of the Wild being with this new open, huge sandbox game now with all this stuff to do. But kind of like what you said, Kyle. I mean, again, I haven't played the full game, but you know, I feel like. Such a huge game like that, it probably can feel empty at times.
What are we talking about?
And then
we're talking about
Breath of the Wild.
Oh, Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah. Like you said, you know, it could feel like such a huge game. There could be a lot of emptiness in it at times. And then for Mario. From what Sam said too, but it's also like a lot of those Nintendo games are like that. You know, it's always the same boss, the same enemy, the same story, just different themed. You know, and that's pretty much what Breath of the Wild kind of was, but like with the twist on again the openness of the vastness. Ooh, excuse me, Jesus, somebody had like a weird attack there. The vastness of the game, and then Mario, of course, you know, yeah, it's you know, save the princess. But again, hey, so is almost Breath of the Wild, like with a weird twist on it. So I would definitely go with Horizon again, and the rest of the games just fuck them. I don't have enough information to really give on those.
That's fine.
Just fuck them.
Hey,
fuck them.
Just fuck them. That's fine. It's completely understandable. When it comes to art or any medium, we know none of it is created in a vacuum. So all these things pull inspiration from one thing or another. We've seen the cross of like old age and new age technology before in film. We've seen RPGs before. We've seen first-person shooters before. We've seen all this. I do echo your guys' sentiments, though, when it comes to Horizon. I do believe that the gameplay and the world that it presented to us was fresh when it came to video games. I did feel like it was a new experience, something that was pretty, it played well, and it was overall enjoyable. It was nice learning about how to defeat these monsters, and I understand that. Wolfenstein, I don't feel was very innovative in the fact that it was pretty much a first-person shooter. It was a very good story. It was written well, and the characters were enjoyable. It was a good package overall. I don't feel it was innovative. Resident Evil 7, I think in the terms of Resident Evil, are innovative, but not in any other sense. So Breath of the Wild, I've shared my issues with Breath of the Wild. Mario, I feel, is Mario. I don't feel like they took any huge steps in any new direction. I feel like it's just a very good Mario game. The same thing applies to Wolfenstein. I feel like Wolfenstein is just a very good first-person shooter. I think in all cases, I think that Horizon does do the best in innovation when it comes to game direction and design. I think that Breath of the Wild could have done a better job. It was innovative for its series. I think it wasn't. I don't think it was innovative enough to win an award. That's just my opinion. I do like the game. I played a lot of it. I have like 80 hours in it. I did try and complete it, but I couldn't hold my attention. So that's also my opinion. I think it does go to Horizon. Oh, this whole time we haven't been saying what we think will win. I think Horizon will. I think either Horizon. The thing is, I think Zelda's gonna fucking sweep. It's just gonna win all the awards it's up for. Sweet! Sadly,
yeah, I think so too.
So I think with any case that Breath of the Wild is available, it'll probably win an award. But I do want Horizon to be up there as well.
Right.
I think. Okay, so next we have Best Narrative. So we have for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. So basically a very well-told and well-written story. For those, we have What Remains of Edith Finch, Nier Automata, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, Wolfenstein 2, and Horizon Zero Dawn. What do you think, Sam?
So I'm kind of gonna have to probably give it to someone else to talk about it because.
Well, just state what you think based on your knowledge, and then we can have someone else fill in the holes.
Here's my thing is that, I have no idea what. Well, what Reminds of Edith Finch, I believe, is more of a mystery game, if that's what I'm thinking of. I
could talk. Oh, I've played it. I've played all these games.
Okay. Well, again, the only games I have experience with are Hellblade. I watched a little bit of playthrough through that. Obviously Horizon. I didn't finish the story, but I've seen enough of the story. Again, I haven't seen anything with Wolfenstein 2, so I can't say. And then Nier, that has been one of those games that's been recommended to me. I mean, you've been preaching about it, and I really want to play it, but I just, for some reason, I haven't picked it up. So the only game I can really talk about is Horizon and Hellblade. So just like I said, and then like I said, this is all I can say. So between those two, I think what will win is Horizon, just because of the overall story and how it fits together and how it builds the world around and how these machines are incorporated. I would like for Hellblade to win just because it's a unique story in that it's an internal it's a soliloquy pretty much. This woman's going through hell literally to get her lover back, and she has to deal with all the mental demons and the real demons. And that struggle is just, I think, so relatable with so many people who are dealing with mental illness. So, again, I think Horizon will win, but I think Hellblade should deserve the win.
Okay. What about you, Tyler? It's hard. Especially if you haven't played the games.
I don't think I can really, because
it is perfectly fine to abstain. If you just want to say I abstain.
Oh no, I understand, but I just want to see if I can just put any input without, because it's very limited for me playing. I mean, really any of these games. I mean, just like a few, and just only for a little bit. So I'll just cut my mic out there. Very limited. So yeah, I will pass on the torch here without really giving an answer.
So having played all of these games. Now, as I've said, or as you've heard, I do have a very heavy Nier Automata bias to that game. I think that game is fantastic, and I think if you get the opportunity, you should play it. I think what it does in storytelling and its narrative and character development is very just well thought out, very expansive, and I think it's just the story in general. You can tell the love that's been put into these characters and the storyline. And the way that they evolve and you grow with them, or they grow as you watch them grow, is just something to behold. I think it's very cool. What Remains of Edith Finch, I've played. It's basically a story of family and loss. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I liked the way that it went through its storytelling. You're going through an old house that you used to live in, and it told its story through the house. And it's almost like a reincarnation of family memories, like mementos that hold value to you, but you gain this value as you play through the game because you're learning about this family and the family that just I dropped my pen. Time out. And this family.
He was getting really into it, and
then there's Hellblade, and I think Hellblade's storytelling being unique is something that it should gain merit for. I think that the way the story is told, with it being I don't know, she has some form of psychosis, and her dealing with those demons in her life and them being all in your head, I think the way that the story was told was worth merit. I think the story itself isn't anything new, but I think that the way it was told and presented to you is very good. I thought that was very good in the way they did that. Wolfenstein 2, I thought that the characters and the way that the story progressed was a loving story. I mean, well, not in the way that you'd think, but the way it was put together.
It was such a romance.
Yeah, you can tell that this story was well crafted. It's just a very fun and enjoyable. It's like if you were to watch a Marvel movie. It's just a very enjoyable action story.
It's kick-ass.
And everything about it just makes it embodies in badassery, like Tyler said.
Mm-hmm.
Horizon Zero Dawn, I think, is the weakest component in this thing. Again, like I said, from early on, I could tell big key plot points. I could guess big key plot points, and I felt like a lot of the way that the story was presented to you was through audio logs and voiceovers and stuff like that. I did not feel like it was very just well put together. I don't know. I understand it's an open world game. It's hard to do that, and hard to have a very concisive and thought provoking story and something like that. That's an open world game. I understand that. I think the winner, I think what should win, is Nier Automata. Again, I've said my praises for this game. This game, the story, the way it was, and what I went through as a person playing it, and having to deal with the way these characters changed and seeing them do things that I never thought that they would do, or actions that I never thought they would take because of dire circumstance and things like that, was definitely interesting. It was a story of finding oneself, of being in a situation where you should not have freedom and acquiring freedom like that, and how to just react with things like that. I think a lot of it echoes kind of what we look for when I'm trying to think of a way to explain this. It's not something that we might have to deal with as people in the literal sense, but seeing things that technically aren't considered people go through stuff that we have been through is just something that's very endearing in a way. I can't really explain it, but not only is the story good, I felt like the way that the story progressed and the way that the game was developed to push out maximum power at presenting the story to you, and some of the actions that were taken by the director in ways that he presented the story to you and unveiled the world to you, I thought were very creative and innovative. And I thought that just the way that this story envelops, at first it seems very simple, and the layers that quickly are added onto it, it just makes for a very enjoyable and quite honestly, very heart-wrenching ride. And I was so involved with these characters, and I just wanted to see, and even with the game's finale, the way it ends after the way that you acquire the true ending of the game is something that I think everyone should experience in their life. Because again, I sing praises, but I just think the way that everything unveils in this story is purposely put together in a way that is designed to incite emotion, and the emotions hit on the right notes. I enjoyed the story so much in this game, and I think it should win for narrative, especially considering its contenders, because I feel like I haven't had a game make me feel what Nier Automata made me feel in a very long time. And you could see this anywhere. If you look at Steam reviews from people that have played the game, a lot of them echo the sentiment that this is something that they've never seen or never experienced or had felt in their life, or at least playing games. And I felt like this game will be something that I'll remember for many years to come, where a lot of these games I don't think will be I won't be remember Horizon in 5 years, but I think if someone ever comes to me and asks me to recommend them a game, I can openly pull from the top of my head Nier, because it was so good. And I want to see more from Yoko Taro as a director. I think he's a fantastic game designer. So that's my thoughts on that. And so I think Nier should win. What I think will win, I don't know, actually. I've heard a lot of good praise about Nier, but I really, if Horizon wins, I'd be genuinely disappointed.
Yeah.
Or if, I mean, again, Wolfenstein, it was a well-written story, and the narrative was enjoyable, but it's nothing that made me rethink my fucking existence as a human being. So I just be sorely disappointed if Nier didn't win, because I think that's the category that it deserves most is narrative. And I just hope it gains something. I want it to get, because the more people that it gets recognition for, more people playing it and more people talking about it, and then that's experiences being shared. And I want to hear other people's experiences. Like, what did you think when this happened? Because when it happened to me, I literally sat there with my jaw agape for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping. So moving on to the next one, we really need to. Holy shit, we're gonna see. It's gonna be a 3.5 hour podcast.
We might have to cut out a few categories.
No, we're gonna go through all of them, but let's just speed them up, because those were the the bigger ones. A lot of these are more like music, art direction, nothing like huge. Or game of the year and like direction and design. Those are things that require like a good amount of explanation. So we have best art direction, which is outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. We have Destiny 2, Cuphead, Breath of the Wild, Persona 5, and Horizon Zero Dawn.
Well, my pick's Cuphead. I'm sorry, but that's one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen this entire year. Anytime hand-drawn animation is in the forefront of a game, and the way it looks and the way it is just one of the most beautiful games I have seen in a while. And I have a soft spot for old animation from the 30s and 40s. I grew up watching old cartoons, so I'm sorry, but I don't think anything's going to beat Cuphead. Probably second place would probably be Zelda for overall aesthetics, but my pick's Cuphead.
Okay, what about you, Tyler?
Horizon, next category.
Okay. I agree with Sam. I share your sentiments. I think the love that was put into Cuphead by Studio MDHR was just fantastic. The amount of
fuck my opinion, I guess. I'm kidding.
If you look at the developer commentary and the videos that they put out, the documentaries or whatever they're called, of them just going through the painstaking progress of cell animation and having to draw everything frame by frame, that's a very labor intensive piece of work. And just to be able to see that in a game and it looks so fucking fantastic and so well done, you can tell the love that was put into this game. And we're just looking at art direction. Cuphead could be the shittiest game in the world, but it looks the best, and it's just fantastic. Everything about it, the amount of and the thing with animation is it's not just art, but it's the fluidity of motion and the amount and if you go to any boss fight, just the amount of motion and the amount of how much character is put into these bosses and the characters just through their movement alone is definitely an art that we have lost to, because, well, especially since a lot of this is now 3D animation, but just the amount of effort and the amount of work putting into building so much character on animation alone you'll see in these boss fights is something that is fantastic, and it has to win this. If it doesn't, again, I'd be sorely disappointed. Cuphead is a fantastically directed game in the form of art. I think Breath of the Wild wasn't anything special. Same thing applies to Horizon. Was a very pretty game, I'm not gonna lie, and the use of the photo mode and all that shit. I can't tell you how much time I spent taking screenshots in Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't think Destiny 2 is anything special, and Persona 5, although it introduces a lot of charm, because of just the amount of detail put into either menu screens or moving around the world or the animations of certain characters or the effects. Because Persona has its own handheld or hand-drawn animation. It's just overlaid in as effects over the models of the characters. Yeah. So being able to see that's really cool. The whole thing feels like a fucking comic book. It's so cool. So being able to see that is awesome as well. But I think Cuphead really takes the cake here. So moving on to the next one, we have Best Score/Music for Outstanding Music, inclusive of score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack. We have Destiny 2, Cuphead, Nier Automata, Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, and Persona 5. So we have a lot of heavy hitters here. What do you think, Sam?
Yeah. I'm just going to say it's going to be between Mario and Persona. Mario has a fantastic theme song, Up Superstar.
Oh, hell yeah. That
great
song is lit, dude. I fucking love it.
Especially in that one moment in New Donk City is just great. And then also the other worlds just have really great music and aesthetics, just the sound effects of creatures and stuff like that, and just overall just great. But Persona 5, man, you want to talk about just fantastic music in even when it's the same song in a fight, it's just awesome. It's just so great. And even what makes it great is that the downtimes, when you're just doing the social stuff, the music playing in the background is just so great. And then of course the score matches every moment, the sadness, happiness, dread, fear. Just fantastic way of just implementing stuff. Zelda did a good job, but I felt like it was just, it felt
nothing.
it felt too generic.
It was a
to me.
bitch playing a piano for 30 minutes. They cut it up and put it in the game. Shut the fuck up, Sam. It was not good. That soundtrack was not. I don't care who the fuck. Come at me. Send me death threats. I don't give a fucking shit. But Zelda's music was not that good. I don't know why people think it's fantastic. It's a bitch, a Japanese bitch sitting on the piano playing music for half an hour. They cut it up into pieces and sprinkle it throughout the world. It was... Obviously, I'm mad, but like... And I understand that there's probably a lot more attention to detail that went in, but the fact that it was literally mostly piano, that shit got me. That pissed me off with how good music has been in previous Zelda games. Oh my god, fuck. And I understand it's because they're trying to fill this huge world. You got to have something for you to listen to while you're walking fucking 10 miles to go nowhere. I understand, but still, like, oh god, it shit pisses me off sometimes.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna. I would love for Persona to win, but I think Mario might take it.
Okay.
So,
what about you, Tyler? What you got?
So, I was gonna say Zelda because, well, I was gonna say, well, this fucking the guy in the couch is like fucking me right here. No, I mean, I was gonna say it based on because again, I've only played so much of it, so I haven't heard the entire music selection of it, but knowing past Zelda games, that's what I would have went off of if it's anything like previous Zelda games, because the music in Zelda games is like almost half the game. You know, I mean, everyone knows every freaking song or tune, you know, from any Zelda game. But if it's not like that, I mean, I can't really say.
Played it.
I would even say, and I just might shoot myself in the mouth here, but Bungie has always been good with the musical score. So Destiny 2, I actually played part of the game because they made it free to play for a while.
Yeah,
so I was actually playing it. I was playing it. And it's actually a fairly long trial. And I was like kind of getting into that Halo-esque mood when you were like kicking ass and whatnot. Also, like, I mean, the way how the game starts off, you know, right from the get-go, it's like, you know, you're empowered, you have all these abilities, and then it's like, yeah, you're the guardian coming in to save the day or whatever, and then all of a sudden you lose all your crap, and then it's like, you know, you're all the way at the back at the bottom, and everything's kind of mopey and stuff like that. But I don't know, I kind of felt that, like I said, that kind of, I was having some flashbacks. And I'm going off on the whim saying that because I was not too sure about how I felt about giving Destiny any sort of leverage because I've forsaken myself for that game. But again, I was kind of interested.
You could hear them typing out the death threats as we speak.
Yeah, exactly. I'm typing myself my own right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I'd go between those two.
Okay. Now, for this category, I find this odd for music because I feel like music, although it has a different, it's weird because it has a couple things that make it so good. I think the fact that music has to be paired well with the game to invoke that emotion that makes you remember it. Because you could have a really fantastic song, just have it play while you're sitting in a chair, and if there's nothing that invokes like that emotion that song's trying to portray, then the song is not as memorable. Now that's so I find it odd because then you're not just talking about music, you're also talking about game direction, and that's not what we're asking for here. So it's a hard category for me because I love the music. I think Destiny 2's music's really good, Tyler. I've played a lot of the game. I put a lot of hours into it, and I think the music in Destiny is very well directed. I think it's very good. I think it does a good job of portraying the emotion it's trying to set forward in most of its parts, and it's good music on top of that. Now, I think I'm gonna say my answer. I want Nier to win. Okay, everyone start booing, whatever. I do want Nier to win. I think that the music in Nier Automata is fantastic, stretching from electronic to sweeping orchestral to even almost like Ghost in the Shell inspired with some of the music. It has a kind of like African tribe kind of sound with the singing, and I have times where I could listen back to the soundtrack of Zelda or Nier and be brought right back to that point in the game where the music was playing. Now, that might not always be the case. Like, for Destiny, I can't necessarily say that. And Persona, I think, has that same effect. The thing with Persona that, again, I've been playing Persona and Shin Megami Tensei for so long, this is exactly what I was expecting from Persona. This music was exactly what I thought was going to be in the game. So I wasn't surprised. But the music in Nier really threw me for a loop. Everything about it, it was just so good, and I felt like it did such a good job of portraying the emotion that's being presented to you. I thought it was very well designed, and I really enjoyed the music in general. I have the entire soundtrack, and the way, on top of that, the way that the music in the game happens is the music occurs in stages. As you progress through a level, a music will start in the bare bones so they recorded multiple versions of each song with different instruments in tune, and then a final form of the song with the actual song being played. So the music will like increase in stages based on what's going on. So if you're exploring through a world, it will start with like bare bones instruments, like maybe some winds and strings and maybe some drums, and then we'll slowly move into faster paced music coming in with maybe more strings and maybe even like a brass section moving in, and then it'll come in with the full blown with singing as well, and the music occurs in layers. And I think that was such a cool way of presenting music to you. As action increased or as you unveiled more of an area, the music itself was being unveiled to you more. I thought that was so cool, and that really sticks with me too. And the thing with Persona is it's just a score. They just made a bunch of music they thought would be like really classy, and then they stuck it in the game. Now again, they have the same thing with Persona though, with like the nighttime scenes. If you're in your house at night and you're sitting there, and that song that plays, I think it's called Beneath the Mask. It's fantastic. It embodies everything about just like a super jazzy nighttime scene, and it just makes you feel so cool and so good, and the music is fantastic in Persona. I'm not going to lie. And I think Persona will win music. There's a lot more people that have played Persona than Nier, but I think, again, with Nier, it's not just music, but it's like layered in between like the levels of the game, and the way that it's unveiled to you, I think, is so cool, that the way they do it. And I love Mario's music too. I think that the music was fantastic in Mario as well. But again, the only song that I remember is the Jump Up Superstar song. The other ones aren't anything that I'm like sitting back and like, oh, I really love the Luncheon World song. So Breath of the Wild, I already screamed my condolences about that fucking piano shit. So that, again, I'm 100% biased for Nier, so I hope it wins something. I think that Persona will win soundtrack though, just because it has a bigger splash in the pool. But I hope Nier wins something, because I just want more people to play the game. But I think that if it won narrative, I wouldn't necessarily be mad that Persona didn't, because I can understand why, basically. All right. Oh, Jesus, it's already 2 hours and 40 minutes in. Okay.
Yeah. Holy crap. How many more categories are there?
A lot. We're going to... The rest of them aren't very extreme. So let's try and keep it much more concise. Let's do
lightning route.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a timer. We're going to give everyone a minute. And we're going to blow through the rest of these, because I don't want to bore the fuck out of people while we all preach about our favorite games.
Yeah.
Here, let me set up a timer for a minute, and we'll do minute timers. Okay, so now we have best audio design. Recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design, we have Destiny 2, Hellblade, Resident Evil 7, Mario, and Zelda. So, Sam... I'm gonna count down, and you're gonna give me your minute, okay?
It'll be less than a minute. I'm gonna give it to Mario, just because of again, overall great. Every world had different music. The sound effects were on point. Even the rushing of the water, the clouds had a sound to it. The cloud world had a sound, and that alone was just really cool. That every single different world had its own personality. So for that reason, I'll definitely give it to Mario.
Okay. What about you, Tyler?
Zelda for the sweep.
Okay, Zelda for the sweep. Now, I felt... Okay, so there's a couple things. I'm going to start my minute. I'm not going to cheat here. All right, minute start. Okay, so I think Destiny 2 has a good stand here because I feel like with the gun noises and the way of the effects and a lot of the stuff, everything feels like it has a punch to it, which I think is really cool. I think Destiny's sound design is pretty good because I feel like everything has an effect to it. Like you feel the weight behind things happening usually. Hellblade, I thought, though, was very innovative with its sound design and the fact that a lot of the information presented to you is through the whispering voices that move from headphone to headphone. And the game itself is trying to instill in you that you're living in this person's shoes who is someone that is suffering with psychosis. So I think that's fantastically done, and everything about that is so cool, and it makes it so immersive. Resident Evil 7, I don't think is very... It's very typical. Breath of the Wild, I've explained my reasoning. And Mario, I think, it's just Mario. I can't really... With audio design, I think Hellblade did a much better job. It was much more innovative. And Destiny 2 has just got that punch to it. But I think Hellblade will win this one. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Oh, a minute and 2. Close enough. Mm-hmm. All right, next... Oh, yeah, I'm last. I keep forgetting. Next one, we have Best Performance. So we have Melina Juergens as Hellblade, Laura Bailey as for Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, Claudia Black, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, Brian Bloom, Wolfenstein 2, and Ashley Birch, Horizon Zero Dawn. All right, Sam?
So unfortunately, I didn't play Lost Legacy. I have heard Brian Bloom in the New Order. He does a great job.
Oh, hell yeah.
Ashley Birch did a fantastic job as Aloy, giving personality to her and just overall performance. But when you have to play someone with a psychotic or a psychosis and you have to really embody what it means to struggle mentally and physically, I think Melina just blew it out of the water. Her facial expressions, her overall tone, and the way she whispered to herself, and just it captured what it was like to be inside the head of Senua. So that alone, I think, deserves the award. So I'll give it to Melina.
Okay. All right, Tyler?
Brian Bloom is BJ Blazkowicz, because that guy, every time he talks, man, it's just like, it's orgasm each time.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty cool. Okay, so Tyler coming in clutch with the 11 seconds.
Simple enough, man. I'll keep it short and sweet.
Okay, so I agree with you, Sam. I feel like Melina Juergens did a fantastic job as Senua. I felt like that whole game's MO was immersion, and I think they hit home on every nail with that. From the voice acting to her facial, the mocap that she had to do to just make you feel like you are in the shoes of someone that is just mentally inept, or I don't even know if that's the right word, whatever, just mentally not there entirely. I did not play the Uncharted games, so I can't really say, although they do usually have fantastic performances. BJ Blazkowicz, man, he's the embodiment of badassery, and I think Brian Bloom did a fantastic job with the voice acting. I just think everything about it, I was completely enraptured by BJ. So I thought he was really cool. Again, I have issues with the characters. I didn't think that Ashley Birch, although I think her voice acting was very good, I don't think Aloy was a very good character, so I just couldn't get in with that. I don't know, but I think she did a good job voice acting. I felt the emotion behind her voice acting, so I think I'm gonna have to give it to, like I said, Melina Juergens. She just did too good of a job. She was fantastic. Yeah. All right, so next we have so we skip these weirder ones because there's games for impact, which are basically pro-social meaning or message. We have best ongoing. I guess we'll do them real quick because we haven't played half of them. So we have so games for impact is for a thought-provoking game with a profound pro-social meaning or message. So basically a game that's trying to change society in some way or another, or try and let us know, hey, maybe we're kind of fucked up. So we have Please Knock on My Door. We have Night in the Woods, Life is Strange Before the Storm, Bury Me, My Love, What Remains of Edith Finch, and then Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
So the only one I've experienced with was Hellblade, and Life is Strange is great for impact with everything that goes on in that story. Night in the Woods, I've heard a few good things about. I guess just living in a different world, being different, but I mean, I gotta give it to Hellblade just because it tackles a a problem that in this country that we don't address very often, and that is something that we really need to look at. And this game really shows what it's like to be in that situation. In fact, I think psychologists and people who suffer from mental illness consulted on this game.
Yeah, they did.
And that alone right there was great. So I'll give it the Hellblade.
Okay. What about you, Tyler? Have you played any of these games? You could abstain.
Wolfenstein 2 because Nazis.
Oh yeah, fuck Nazis, right? Okay, yeah, okay, cool. Wolfenstein 2 will add in there as the 7th game. Fuck Nazis. That'll just what we'll say, and it's just Tyler scribbled it in crayon.
Yeah.
All right. I haven't played these games besides Edith Finch and Hellblade. The thing with Hellblade is, although it's very it's not very heavy-handed with its meaning. A lot of it's just trying to tell a story and then in turn trying to share, hey, this is kind of like a day in the life of someone that might live with this. And they're trying to just kind of immerse you in what something like that might be for someone that suffers from that form of mental illness. So I think that's cool. Edith Finch, I didn't really feel a pro-social message from it. So I can only give it to Hellblade, and I feel like Hellblade garnered more attention than the rest of these. Maybe Life is Strange is a good contender, but I think that Hellblade was cool because it wasn't heavy-handed with its message. So it was more of a thing where you finish it, you play it, and you're like, this is really what someone might go through in this situation. And that I think is really cool because it's not forcing it down your throat. So I have to give it to Hellblade. So next we have Best Ongoing Game. We have awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. And we got Warframe, Rainbow Six, Siege, Overwatch, GTA Online, Destiny 2, and PUBG.
I'm gonna have to abstain from this one. The only one that I would pick would be Overwatch, just because it's the only game I've played consistently. So, yeah, that's my pick.
Abstain. What about you, Tyler? Abstain.
Abstain.
Okay. I've played a couple of these games. I played Warframe, Siege, Overwatch, GTA Online, Destiny 2, and PUBG. So I'd have to say amongst these, though, at doing a good job of providing ongoing content that evolves the player experience, I'd have to either give it to Overwatch or GTA Online, because I think the way they do it is, the problem with Warframe, Siege and stuff is, like, Warframe's free to play. So they do a good job of creating more content, but almost all the time, it's either behind a grind or a paywall. Where I think the cool thing about Overwatch and GTA Online is their whole focus is building that online community. They're providing free content and free updates to the game so that no one is barred. There's no barrier to newer players coming into the game, where a lot of these other games, their newer content is behind some sort of wall, and PUBG is not really evolving anything. It's had the same gameplay method from the start. They're just adding guns and shit, and maybe we'll get a new map soon, which I think we are getting. But I think it'd either go to Overwatch or GTA. I think Overwatch is going to get it. But I wouldn't be surprised if GTA received it as either. I think they both do fantastic jobs of developing their online community. So I think I'd be okay with both of them acquiring that award. So next we have Best Mobile Game. This is best playable experience, best game playable on a dedicated mobile device. We have Fire Emblem Heroes, Super Mario Run, Old Man's Journey, or Monument Valley, and Hidden Folks.
The only one I played was Fire Emblem Heroes and Super Mario Run. Fire Emblem Heroes actually copies a lot of other games. The only thing that's different is that there's actual little strategy you can actually move up like you would in a Fire Emblem game, but it uses a lot of RNG to get new characters and stuff, which like most mobile games use. Super Mario Run, I thought was really great. A lot of replayability. Yeah, that's the only downside. That's the only downside. But I've got to give it to gameplay. I mean, I know the DRM is a big flaw, but I mean that's the only one that I really put most of my time into. So I mean, you know, I know it's unpopular, but I have to go with Super Mario Run.
Okay, no, that's understandable. What about you, Tyler? What you got for us?
I'm not an advocate for mobile gaming, so I will throw in a random game and say Exploding Kittens, because that game is actually kind of fun. Sorry, I can't really.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You just took 30 seconds to abstain. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, see, I'm the time saver here, so I'm just
there
doing
you
my
go.
job.
All right, so next we have best handheld game, which is for the best playable on a dedicated portable gaming system. We have Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World, Monster Hunter Stories, Metroid Samus Returns, Ever Oasis, and Fire Emblem Echoes Shadow of... Oh, I didn't say for the last one, did I? For mobile game? I didn't say mine.
Yeah.
I'll try to rush. I don't play mobile games much either, but I really like Fire Emblem as a whole, so I'm just going to give it to Fire Emblem because I like the Fire Emblem franchise. I love Fire Emblem games, and being able to like collect my own Fire Emblem characters, I think that's pretty cool. I have played the game, but going back, we have best handheld games, so I said them all right. The last one is Fire Emblem Echoes Shadow of Valencia. I don't know how to say it. So what you think, Sam?
I didn't play any of these games either.
Nice. I told you these last ones they won't be too long at all.
I mean, I gotta give it to Metroid just because of what it did, and it brought it's a Metroid game. I mean, we waited for Metroid for a long time, and for what I've seen, looks really cool, and I'll probably pick it up eventually. These other games looked okay. I played Fire Emblem, but didn't really take me in. Monster Hunter Stories is just a dumbed down version of Monster Hunter, and I rather have the full experience. So I gotta give it to Metroid.
What about you, Tyler?
Metroid, it's the only franchise I really know, and I know it's good, so...
I'm going to give it to Metroid too, because I've actually played a little bit of it. I haven't played any of these other games, and I think it's cool. What we think might win, I think Metroid might win for that one.
Yeah.
Metroid. And for the last category, I think Fire Emblem Heroes might win. I don't even know any of these other games. I don't know, but a lot of these areas we don't really know much, and I'm not really an active follower of mobile or handheld games, so I don't really know the community and who might vote for what. All right, next we have Best VR AR Game for the best gaming experience playable in a virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of platform. So we have Superhot VR, Star Trek Bridge Crew, Lone Echo, Echo Arena, Farpoint, or Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
So didn't play any of these. I watched a bunch of gameplay. Superhot is very innovative. It's really fun, but the only true full VR game here is Resident Evil. And from what I've seen, it looks really fun to play, and it just immerses you in that world. So for that alone, I'm going to give it. I think Resident Evil 7 is going to win it.
We have like 13. We have like 13 more categories.
Are you?
They're really simple. They're almost. We'll get them through. Like hyperventilating. Okay, let me get back
Resident Evil. Next.
Okay. I have to. I really like Superhot, but I think amongst all these VR games, I think the one that should win is Resident Evil because it's like a fully put together, fully realized concept and experience. Farpoint I felt was really bland for a first-person shooter. The only thing that made it unique was the fact that it was in VR. So I think that Resident Evil 7 is something that is fantastic in a VR experience. It just amplifies that game so much. But again, I haven't touched any of these VR games, so I don't know exactly. Next, we have Best Action Game. Best game in the action genre focused on combat. So we have Prey, Neo, Destiny 2, Cuphead, and Wolfenstein 2. What you got, Sam? No, this is we're focused on action, so this is focused on the combat of the game.
Right. Well, I mean, I didn't play Neo, but I played the demo and it was really fun, and it had a lot of different ways of taking down enemies. So that one I enjoyed as more fast-paced Dark Souls, pretty much. Destiny 2's action was great. I mean, you always have something to do. Cuphead, again, with the animation and the way you interacted with the world and the bosses was great. Wolfenstein 2, I didn't play it, but from what I played from New Order, it's really, really fun with stealth, with on-the-rail shooter, and with just creative ways of killing enemies. I'm probably going to give it to Wolfenstein 2. I think that's what will win. I mean, that's what I want to win. But because of how big Destiny 2 is, I think Destiny 2 will probably take it. But I think Wolfenstein 2 deserves it.
Okay.
I agree with Sam. I think Destiny 2 would probably take it just because it's Destiny. But Wolfenstein, I think, deserves it more just because of, there's so many awesome ways to kill Nazis.
Yeah.
And killing those damn Nazis.
I think...
just the combat and like how it's playing the New Order and the Old Blood and even like playing a little bit of 3D as well, like just like how going like really to like the older games, it's some of these ways of killing in the action, dude, it's insane. Whether it's like a little cutscene or if it's like a like animated scene or something like that, it's awesome. I just like it's to me, it's like ultimate badassery as usual, and Wolfenstein always takes that cake. So.
All right, cool. I think as big as Destiny 2 is, like a good portion of the population is not in the best of terms with it. So I don't know if because this is a popularity contest. I don't know how many people will be voting for Destiny 2 in the Game Awards. So I don't know. I think I think that again, I want Wolfenstein to win something because I think it's a fantastic first-person shooter, the best one of this year. And so I think it really is worth because it this game defines action and badassery, and everything about it is just being a total. It just you're like playing a action movie, and it feels like that the entire time. And the amount of like awesome stuff that's going on throughout the entire game, it's so encapsulating because you just want to see what other crazy shit they could pull up next, and that. If a game is just keeping you there because of the action and how fun it is playing to that action, I think it deserves that. I think it's really cool. So next we have Best Action Adventure Game. So we have for the Best Action Adventure Game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. We have Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, Assassin's Creed Origins, Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, and Horizon Zero Dawn.
Okay, so Zelda basically lets you climb anything, which is really cool. And the traversal through the game was great. But the amount of fun and the amount of innovation you could do with Mario Odyssey, I think I would give it to that just because of just the amount of just crazy things you can do with your cap and just the combos you can make and the amazing acrobatics you can do. So I'll give it to Mario, but I think Zelda will probably take it.
Tyler?
Zelda.
I think Zelda will take it, I agree, but I want to give it to Horizon because I think the action, that gameplay, that action adventure gameplay, I think is what is like the best aspect of that game. So I think it should win this award because it just does such a good job of also making you feel like a badass. Like you're a lone person fighting fucking ginormous robotic dinosaurs, and that thought alone and the adventure of on top of that, learning how, because every fight in itself is solving a puzzle. You're figuring out what this dinosaur you need to do to this guy to fucking take him down so you're not having your arrows ricochet off of all its armor and shit like that. So I think the fact that every fight you come across is a puzzle in itself, I think makes it an adventure game as well as an action game, and I think that's fantastic, the way that they melded those parts of the gameplay together. So I want to give it to Horizon, but I think Zelda's going to get it. So moving on to the next one, we have Best RPG. The best game designed with rich player, character customization, and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. That was like the worst fucking description. Best RPG. So we have South Park: The Fractured Butthole, Final Fantasy 15, Divinity: Original Sin 2, Nier Automata, and Persona 5.
Only game I played in this thing was Persona.
Shit.
Yeah, I only played Persona, so I didn't play the other ones. So that's the one I'll pick. But I feel like Nier might take it. Like I said, I didn't play it, but that's my choice. So,
Tyler?
I will give it to South Park: The Fractured Butthole.
Okay.
Because I've heard a lot of good stuff from that game, and it's I don't know, just it's such an interesting concept, and it feels like you're playing in the show.
Yeah.
So
I think it's cool.
I feel like it really immerses you in that world, and it's as funny as it is, as comical, because it's you know how, if you ever seen the South Park episode, how very raunchy it can get at times, and just over the top like comical, like satire and all that stuff like that. So being able to play a game like that, RPG, think of the role of you being this random kid, like I think it's like you're like the new kid or whatever.
Yeah.
Just from the get-go of you creating your character, there's always so much stuff that gets. I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything, but they hit it off immediately, and you're playing a South Park game. So based on the role, I don't know if it would really win, but it's crazy to think that something that started as a creative idea as a show is now a video game. Like to get that popular and to breach that sort of ground, I kudos for them. So I mean, I like to see them win.
Cool. I think that amongst these five, now the thing with Nier is I don't consider it an RPG that heavily. I consider it more of a beat 'em up action game. It harbors RPG elements, so I don't want to give it RPG because I don't feel like it embodies that game style. I think it's either between Divinity Original Sin 2 and Persona 5. Having played both, I think that Persona 5, they both do a fantastic job of building a world. Huh? What? Of building a role and setting you in that world and making you feel immersed in it. I think they both do a fantastic job. But I do want to kind of give it to Persona because I feel like it has more cylinders it's firing on. Like the music is really good. The combat's a lot more fun, in my opinion, than Divinity Original Sin 2. And I feel like a lot more people have played Persona 5. So I think I'm going to give it to Persona 5. And I think it will win too. I don't think Nier has, I mean, it's only sold like so many copies. I think Persona's outsold it like two or three times. So I don't think Nier's going to make it. So let's move on next to Best Fighting Game. We have Tekken 7, Nidhogg 2, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Injustice 2, and ARMS. What do you think,
Injustice
Sam?
2. There's just hands down Injustice 2. I mean, ARMS was really cool. I mean, it was unique. It was a new IP from Nintendo. But, I mean, overall aesthetics, character interaction, combos, techniques. I'm sorry, but I think Injustice 2 takes it because Marvel vs. Capcom was a disappointment. The animations were just really rough. We made it too easy to play. It was like a barrier to entry. They made it too easy. Tekken 7 didn't really innovate. It just was like another Tekken game. It didn't really give you anything different. It had a few new things to it, but overall, I think Injustice 2 1 has a story, which is fantastic. And then all the characters are unique, and it just gives you a better overall sense of what a fighting game is supposed to be.
I don't know. Like from fighting games, I really have no preference. It's a fighting game. It just characters based. I mean, some style and some of the gameplay, I guess. But I don't know. I'm more familiar with Marvel vs. Capcom. So I'll go ahead with that then. I mean, I don't really have much to say on that.
The game was horrible. It performed
Was it horrible?
I've heard the mechanics of the game. I've heard the mechanics of the game were really good, but the game just looked like fucking Play-Doh. So
that tells you how much knowledge I have. Again, like for fighting games, I don't really have much of a preference over it. So
okay, I would have to say for Impact, it'd either have to be Injustice 2 or Tekken 7. I mean, in the fighting game community, I think both of them are very large franchises. But I think Injustice pulls a bit harder because it has comic books backing it up, and there's a bigger comic book audience to stack on top of the fighting game audience. So, but I've heard Tekken 7 is a fantastic fighting game as well. So I think it could go to either of those, but I think it might go to Injustice 2. Next, we have best family games. So this is the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. We have Splatoon 2, Sonic Mania, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Super Mario Odyssey.
So with this game, I thought about it, and I think really, to be honest, I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because it lets everyone play. It is a multiplayer experience, and when you think of family, you think of getting everyone involved. Yes, Mario, all these games are appropriate, but when you want to play together and you want to do something together as a family that everyone can play, even smaller kids, because there's even a mode in Mario Kart that lets younger people play without, having to worry about being frustrated in controls. So I think Deluxe should win, but I think Mario Odyssey will probably win. But I think Deluxe should win it.
What about you, Tyler? Uh-oh.
Okay. No. I was in thought. Don't worry.
You freaked me out.
I think I'm going to skip this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, that's possible. Whenever you want to stay in, that's fine. I agree with you 100%, Sam. I think that none of these other games really allow for a good family play, and I think Mario Kart really nails that. Even if it was a game that's been released again and it's not technically from this year, I do agree that 8 Deluxe, it's if you need to sit down and play with people, that's what it's got. That's what you do. Splatoon 2, you can only play with one other person. Sonic Mania, I think you can have another person play as Tails. I don't even remember. Rabbids, I don't even know if it is multiplayer. And then Odyssey.
It is, but it's limited.
Yeah, Odyssey has like the stupid one of you controls the hat bullshit. It's dumb.
Now, if they had released Mario Party Top 100 on Switch, I would have probably voted for that.
Yo, I would have been so for that shit. All right.
Yeah.
Best strategy game. We have best game focused on real-time return-based strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform. We have XCOM 2, War of the Chosen, Tooth and Tail, Total War, Warhammer 2, Halo Wars 2, and Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
I can only say Mario and Rabbids just because it's the only game I played. I've watched some of these other games. They look pretty cool, but just for simplicity and just overall just fun with a strategy game, probably Mario. But I think who's going to win it is probably going to be XCOM or Total War. Those are probably the two that I would say will probably win it, but my vote is for Mario.
Halo Wars 2.
I agree. Sorry.
Halo Wars 2 because that's the only game I played a lot of. Not so much 2. I played a lot of 1. I actually still do. Just to play with a few of my friends. I don't know. We're kind of losers and like the only people that ever play that game still. And we just got 2 for Black Friday sale or Cyber Monday, whatever. They finally dropped the price some more, and then we got it for $20. So we're just like, yeah, screw it, let's get it. And it's not bad, it's very creative, very immersive as far as kind of like a simple RTS game goes. I've played better, and I expected a little bit more from it, but it's still a lot of fun to play with friends. And the campaign's actually pretty interesting. That's one of the best things about that game is actually the campaign. I'd say the cutscenes have a good chunk of to do with it being so good. But overall, like the game's actually pretty interesting. I mean, it doesn't get a lot of credit, I think, for what it deserves, because a lot of people just kind of like brush it over. I don't remember the first one being that successful either.
No, it wasn't.
It's a game. It's a game that'll definitely die down pretty quick. But I don't know. It's the game that I actually like a lot. So I'm just gonna give that one it.
Okay, I'm going to abstain from this category. I've not played any of these games, so I have nothing to say here. I do abstain. Next, we have best sports racing game. I think what will win will either be XCOM or Total War, like Sam said. I think XCOM has a really big following to it. So next, we have best sports racing game. We have Project Cars 2, Pro Evolution Soccer 2018, NBA 2K18, GT Sport, Forza Motorsport 7, FIFA 18. I'm
going to abstain from this one because they're all trash. Because except for Pro Evolution, because it's the only one that doesn't implement loot boxes.
Oh shit!
Oh, sorry. No, wait. Project Cars 2 doesn't. So basically, 2. So if I were to pick, I'd probably give it to Pez or Project Cars because all of the 4 games are trash and they need to be erased from the world.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, sports games are of interesting genre in video games. A lot of it I feel is very repetitive. I think FIFA will take it. To be honest with you, just like the way how a lot of fandoms are in like the sports community, and of course, when you have sports fans who are also huge gamers or just fans of video games in general, and then you put the two together, and it's like its own little cult following. So. That's a special case, but I'm pretty sure FIFA will take it.
Okay. I'm going to abstain too. I've never played any of these games, but I think FIFA will grab it as well. Either FIFA or GT or Forza, because those are both really big racing games, and FIFA's always fucking huge. That's why I think will win. I've never played any of them, and I'm not a sports game fan, so if it's something that can happen in real life, I'd rather watch it on TV. So next we got Best Multiplayer for outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre. We have Fortnite, Call of Duty World War II, Splatoon 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Destiny 2, and PUBG.
My pick is Mario Kart 8 just because it's the only one I really enjoyed, to be honest. I mean, Destiny 2 was fun. Call of Duty's been fun, but to be honest, I mean, I've dabbled into Fortnite with the Battle Royale, which is really cool. But let's be honest, I mean, Mario Kart 8, to me personally, I would choose the one that'll win is PUBG for sure. I mean, that's the biggest multiplayer game right now, and I don't think any other game's going to touch it.
Tyler?
I'm going to abstain from speaking on it. I'm just going to say PUBG's probably going to win when it comes to multiplayer. You know, that's probably like the roughness when it comes to this topic, because that's where video games have really come to nowadays. And PUBG, like Sam said, you know, it's the huge multiplayer for what's going on right now. And Call of Duty's ass. So I actually have it too. That's the saddest part.
Same. I played it for like a couple days and I don't touch it. Now I don't know if when
I'm still playing it.
I don't know if when they say Fortnite, they mean the Battle Royale mode or the OG Fortnite.
It's got to be the Battle Royale.
That's what I'm thinking too. I think PUBG's gonna win. What I want to win, I don't really know. I like PUBG. And I don't like, I mean, multiplayer, as I get older, man, multiplayer is just not there anymore for me. I'd much rather have like a really good single player game than a game that will make me play it for 60 hours or like 100 something hours for multiplayer. So at this point, I think PUBG is going to win. What I want to win, I don't know. I'm okay with PUBG winning, because if it wins, if it wins anything, take the fucking best multiplayer. I don't give a shit. Just don't take any of the other awards. That's fine with me. Let it have the best multiplayer award. I'm okay with that. Now we have most anticipated game of 2018. We have Last of Us Part 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, Monster Hunter World, Marvel Spider-Man, and God of War.
Red Dead Redemption 2, just because Red Dead Redemption was a fantastic game. I loved it. The ending was, man, it was just so heart-wrenching, just fantastic. I'm really excited. Now, I played a little bit of Last of Us Part 1. I think Part 2 will be great. All these other games look fantastic, but I really am excited for Red Dead 2, just personally. This one's hard to judge who would win, just because it's very, very subjective, because this is really more about opinion than it is actual, like, you know, this is really popularity. So I think Red Dead Redemption 2 will win, and it's my pick.
Oh. Okay. What was that? You scared the shit out of me. You okay?
So I'm
It's going to his brain. We've been in here too long. We're 3 hours in. He's losing it.
going crazy, man. No, dude, I come in, I'm like, I'm gonna go take a leak real quick while Sam's talking. The mic's muted. The mic wasn't muted.
Oh, we didn't hear anything. You're good. Just hear someone peeing into the fucking toilet. I'd be so mad. Be like, this motherfucker. It reminds me of like us in high school. I did that shit all the time. I'm like, I don't want to take my headset off, so I just walk to the bathroom holding my controller and piss in the toilet.
Oh my god,
you hear
that's
that
the
shit?
Funniest thing ever. I'm so sorry. That was, that was just
I didn't hear it. So
unprofessional of me, really, because it was pretty loud. Like I don't know how I had the power to pinch it off when I went to, but like when I realized the mic was muted, I was like,
you know what you do? I'm not gonna say it. That's disgusting. All right. Most anticipated game. We've lost them. Most anticipated game of 2018. Did you hear the nominees?
Yeah, I heard the nominees. There's a lot of good ones. I like Red Dead 2. I think I played like just like Sam. I also played a little bit of Last of Us. I've been when I go take my PlayStation and bring it up here next time. I'm definitely gonna finish it. That game. The reason why I got the PlayStation was to play, other than, you know, talking to you guys and stuff like that, have another way to communicate. But like also like how Halo was for me to get an Xbox, Last of Us was for me to get a PlayStation. So definitely feel like that's gonna be a very interesting game. So probably that. God of War 2 opens up the gate for me as well. I don't know too much about it, but I know it's a huge franchise. So that might be anticipated, and they're all these games really. Spider-Man as well, you know. Again, the PlayStation games, so I'll probably get that too. That's gonna be a huge game. very excited for that. So that there, I don't know if I really have one specific. So I guess I'll say Last of Us 2, but I mean they're all really up there for anticipation.
Okay, I'd say
let
if
me
we're gonna
mute my mic real quick. So okay, continue, Kyle.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to it, I think if we're looking at this realistically, I think it'd be Red Dead Redemption 2. It's on all platforms. It's really anticipated. It's Rockstar. They have one of the biggest games going right now. I think Red Dead Redemption 2 would get it. What I want to, I don't know. But I really think Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to... All these games are going to be fucking fantastic. I have to say that hands down. I'm so excited for Monster Hunter, which we have a demo on the 9th or the 12th, something like that. God of War is going to be fantastic. Spider-Man's got me fucking jumping like a skitty... little kid schoolgirl. I really fucked that sentence over. Yeah, so I'm really excited for all of those. We only got a couple more, and we'll finally be done here. Thank you all for have stuck with us while we talked about these games. It's definitely, there's a lot of fucking awards. I was not under the impression how many awards there were. I was going to try and edit this, but I have to leave for work in 30 minutes, so that's not going to fucking happen. Next, we have Best Independent Game. We have Pyre, Night in the Woods, Cuphead, What Remains of Edith Finch, and Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. And Independent is outstanding creative technical achievement in a game mode outside the traditional publisher system. So indie, best indie, I guess, or whatever, I don't know.
I'll say probably Cuphead's gonna win it. I think, like we said before, I mean, it speaks for itself. But Hellblade might have a chance, so it'd be probably between those two, but I'd probably pick Cuphead.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of more commercial related stuff toward Cuphead, so I'm gonna go with that. I think that's just I just see so much of that. I think they're really selling that pretty good, so I'll go ahead with that.
I think Cuphead will win as well, and I'm okay with either Cuphead or Hellblade winning. They're both fantastic games, but I think Cuphead will be the one that will take it. I don't think Hellblade has much of a splash in the water. A couple of these we're going to skip because we just don't know anything about them. Like Best Gamer, I'm not going to talk about that shit. I'd rather stick to the games. We have a Best Esports Game. So the game has delivered the best overall esports experience to players, inclusive of tournaments, community support, and content updates, irrespective of genre or platform. We have Rocket League, League of Legends, Dota 2, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and Overwatch. What you think, Sam?
What are we looking at?
We have Rocket League, this is Best Esports. Rocket League, League of Legends, Dota 2.
I was.
Yeah. You're losing. I'm losing you too.
No. I was following on the website, and I guess you skipped down to esports.
Oh, I did skip a couple.
He was falling asleep.
That's fine. This one's hard for me. The only one I've played is Rocket League and Overwatch, so I'll probably give it to Overwatch. But I think League or Dota will probably take it.
Okay. Tyler?
Yeah, I'll probably give it Overwatch too. I've only played Overwatch and Rocket League, and Rocket League's a lot of fun, but definitely doesn't get the amount of popularity I think compared to the other one. So definitely Overwatch is the one that's killing it right now.
Okay. Now I want to, according to the award, I want to say for the best overall esports experience, although Overwatch has made some leaps in moving closer to an esports game, I don't think it's anywhere near the the realms of League of Legends or Dota 2. They both have fantastic esports experiences, and there are millions of people that flood to Twitch every year to watch Worlds for League and then Dota's championships as well. So I think one of them are going to take it. I've never played Dota, but I have played a lot of League of Legends, so I'll be okay with either of them winning. But I think they both do fantastic jobs, and they're the ones that kind of brought esports to the front line. And they're like the first ones that popped up on TV and all those other things. So they're the ones that are like the pioneers of esports. So I think they definitely deserve the award. Either one of them, they're both fantastic and huge games. So I just played more of League, so I'm going to give it to League. But I'm okay with either one of them winning. I think Overwatch hasn't done enough yet to make it a full esports game. And it's just that their League of Legends and Dota are just giants in the esports industry. So they definitely have Overwatch beat in this category. So we have one more category. We're going to skip these other esports players and shit. We're going to do best debut indie game. So we have Slime Rancher, Mr. Shifty, Hollow Knight, Golf Story, and Cuphead again. This will be the last one because we're not going to do best Chinese game. I haven't even touched that category.
This one I'm kind of conflicted on because I played Golf Story to its entirety and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a fantastic indie game. Remind me of Mario Golf. I loved that game back in the day. Incredible writing, great story for a golf game. Just really all around, just really, really, really fun. Just very innovative. I think Cuphead's going to win, but I really want Golf Story to win this. I really want this to get an award because this team did a fantastic job. And a little nod at the end, Easter egg at the end of the game, just fantastic. So I want Golf Story, but I think Cuphead will take it.
Okay.
I'll abstain from this one. I don't know too much to really give any input.
Okay. I'm stuck between Cuphead and Hollow Knight. I played both those games, and the thing that Hollow Knight's got me on is, like I said, like we said before, I'm a big fan of animation. I'm a very visual person. I'm also a big fan of like music. I'm very audio, but those two things like are great ways to get my attention. And both Hollow Knight and Cuphead both have fantastic animation in it. Hollow Knight's also hand drawn. And it's just the art style and the direction of it for a Metroidvania game is just fantastic. It's a fantastic game, and I think it deserves an award, so I want to give it to Hollow Knight. I think Cuphead will get it just because it's so big, but Hollow Knight is a fantastic Metroidvania, and it has amazing art direction, so it's really good. So I want it to win something, and I think it deserves it. So that's that. The last one's Chinese game. We're not going to touch that because I haven't played a Chinese game this year, so... So that's our Game of the Awards predictions. Holy shit, that took so much longer than I had expected. I hope you guys...
That was like, what, an hour?
More.
Yeah, we're 3 hours and 13 minutes. I hope you guys stuck around to listen to us babble. Let us know what you think deserves Game of the Year in the comments below. Or you can hit us up in Discord and tell us, hey, you took way too goddamn long, and we'll listen to you. So, that was... episode 30 of the Thought Patrol podcast. I was joined by Sam and Tyler. How about you guys give me an outro for this week before we sign off here? You first, Sam.
In life, we have struggles, and it always seems darkest when we're at our lowest. But there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and at the end of the tunnel is hope.
Aww.
And with hope, you can always overcome. Plus ultra.
I love it. You know what you should do? You should get like a soundboard on your computer or something, or on your phone, where you just press the button and it'll be All Might saying Plus Ultra. That'd be really cool,
yeah.
too. What about you, Tyler?
I don't know if I can top that, Sam, but sometimes in life, you get, instead of lemons, there's two types of pickles.
Oh.
You get the regular dill pickles, and that little ugly, sweet, nasty, sour pickle that
yeah.
no one really likes. And sometimes you just got to eat it, you know? Sometimes it's the only one there in the salad bar, and, you know, because they ran out of the regular dill pickles. And, you know, you just got to put up with it, and then, you know, douse that shit in some extra ranch dressing, and, you know, suck it up and keep moving on. And then, you know, eventually after you finish your salad, like the fat fuck you are, go ahead and get yourself some mac and cheese and load up on those carbs.
Is this a personal experience?
At the sweet tomatoes, yeah.
Is this a personal experience? Did we have a rough week, Tyler?
It very well may have been, but the purpose of it is to know that things will move forward and everyone eventually will have their mac and cheese.
Okay, that's very nice. And before we go, I shall leave you all with a thought. Intelligent people have more zinc and copper in their hair.